The early game
with Bill Gunter.
Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way.
It's my theme music right there.
Jen Jensen.
Yep, pretty much.
That's what I wake up to.
Pretty much.
Tells me to stay humble.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
And I could do anything.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
The theme of this show. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Up and at 'em on a Monday morning, and it's a week that really kicks off or starts to conclude the academic sports calendar year, because from this point forward, about the next 6 weeks, it's sports, more sports, lots of sports, nothing but sports, everything you want, even included Preston Thorne, some spring football, if that's a direction you so want to take it. Yeah, okay, just making sure we're on the same page there. But yes, moving forward, sports, lots of sports. Basketball, woo! What a weekend. What a weekend. Men's overtime victory, women banking in threes, and then taking down the Death Star that is LSU, just shoving them down. Oh, we'll give you thoughts on that. Yes, we will, because that's what we do. Welcome in on what should be the start again. You got conference tournaments wrapping up for the women, conference tournaments starting for the men. NCAA gets going. We'll have the TPC at Sawgrass this weekend, Preston, if you want to get into some golf. Masters, Heritage coming up. Spring football gets going here in about 9 days. This week, tomorrow, Pro Day over at South Carolina.
Wonderful time of year.
Sports. All sports. Major League Baseball gets going here in a few weeks. It's all right in front of us now.
Yeah, if you tuned into the live stream, you may notice I have a.
Now, what just happened to you, by the way?
I have nosebleeds. It's a thing. It's one of my symptoms from pollen and allergies.
I thought maybe you were just trying to emulate the end of the game last night.
I was involved in the scuffle, and you see me this morning. So yeah, if you're involved, that's what's going on here. But we're good here. Play through.
I don't even know where to begin. We could have the wheel of misfortune could serve as the wheel of discussion this morning if we so wanted to do so. But obviously, in what was an incredible week in South Carolina, baseball rolls. They finally Longwood ran out of pitchers. It's either that or word got to the dugout for Longwood that they were going to the NCAA tournament, not for baseball. Maybe there was confusion, because I don't know if you saw during the game yesterday, Longwood clinched in basketball, men's. Clinched a spot in the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
As the baseball game was going on, and maybe there was confusion in the Longwood dugout, and they thought they meant the baseball team had already earned a spot, and they just decided to stop pitching.
Yeah, I thought it was a typo. I was like 22. I was like, oh man, that's a lot. It's a lot of runs. And baseball is not one of those things where you can kind of like, all right, let's save some of these runs for another time. We didn't need to use all 22 of them here.
7 innings too. 7 innings as South Carolina plays an 8-inning game, a full game, and then a 7-inning game over the weekend. They score 42 runs to just 8 for Longwood.
So that would technically be a run rule, because 22-6 is way more than 10 run rules.
Right.
So it's definitely not a. You score 21s, I think we can call it mercy rule.
Yes,
there is mercy.
The mercy. So that was baseball. We'll talk a little bit about that with Jamie Bradford coming up in the next hour, but we would be remiss if we don't start with what I now think. Now, this is fluid. Now, this is going to be a hot take at 6:05 right out of the gate. And these situations are fluid. I think the most despised team, including Clemson, that South Carolina plays across the board right now in the LSU women's basketball team. I think they are I think Kim Mulkey is probably more despised than Dabo Swinney. I think LSU women's basketball at this moment, as we sit here today, Angel Reese will graduate and Kim Mulkey will move on at some point. Clemson will always be right there. But my goodness, I really don't think I dislike. Hate is a strong word, especially for sports. I really, really dislike, bordering on hate, the LSU women's basketball team, and have never been happier to see a South Carolina athletic program win a sporting contest than I was yesterday.
I don't dislike them, Bill. I don't dislike them.
I despise them. That whole group couldn't get beat often enough for me to be happy.
Listen, in order for you to have a good matchup, if we're talking about wrestling, there has to be a foe. There has to be a villain. And again, as I've stated, we are Carolina Gamecocks. But we have tendencies also. And so when you watch around the country, I'm sure people around the country are trying to figure out, like, who do we cheer for? Who do we not cheer for? What's going on here? Who's the bad guy here? This is a great rivalry, man. This is great.
Yeah, I think they are definitely an aggressive group, but I know we can play physically as well. I don't, I would love to see if somebody did an assessment or like a tally sheet of how many times were we pulling hair, and like there's actually a photo on the AP where you can see Angel Reese getting up, in the torso and up, like something where she should have been fouled, things like that. How much of that were we doing compared to?
Oh yeah.
I hope we're doing it every time. And I hope if we play them again, we do it to them every time.
I agree. But
I despise that team.
It was a very clear strategic move that they were going to try and be more aggressive and play bully ball and try and physical their way towards a victory. And they were on their path. But yeah, so don't like them, huh?
Do not. I will stand. This, again, is fluid. It takes Dabo Swinney one moment during spring practice to say something that's annoying, and he'll try and do it. But right now, top of the list, LSU women's basketball.
Here's the thing.
And you've got Angel Reese after the game going on Twitter or X claiming of a player of her status.
She's the
player of her status.
What is her? Is that not right?
And
what is her status? Is she not one of the top 5 players in women's college basketball?
I will also say this, that you were 110% right on last year. You were ahead of the game on it.
I was ahead of the curve.
Thorns, buds, and roses. I will say, LSU, Caitlin Clark, South Carolina, they're great for women's basketball. Because if you pull up ESPN this morning, front article, top article, it's not Baker Mayfield getting $100 million or 33, getting $100 million or 3. It's not Russell Wilson going to the Steelers. There is a picture, and the kind of the lead article is South Carolina LSU women's basketball. The score, the picture of Camila Cardoso standing over Flo J. Johnson, basically saying what?
But she's a little girl.
Yeah, I don't know what Kim was doing with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
The whole thing. Annoying. And I'm with Anthony on our live stream. It is. Women's basketball has probably never been in a better spot.
Oh, it's in a great spot for sure. I mean, it's generated interest. You have this conversion of all these different things that are happening. We talked about, again, I will pat myself on the back for this. But
you were all over it.
I was on this. But you have this idea, we love personalities in sports. A lot of times the men's game has tried to sanitize everything, sand off all the rough edges, make everybody smooth. To be honest, part of it was we love Lamont wearing the quarter zip, but that's extremely boring, right? And when all these other coaches are wearing quarter zips, and then you have Kim Mulkey wearing her sequins, and you have Dawn wearing her Gucci, and you have the women having personalities, all of that's fine, but none of that matters unless you have skill to batch it up. And that's where you have these women playing with extremely high levels of skill and talent and uncommon feats of athleticism. All of that makes for a very compelling viewing experience. And that's where we are.
It was the whole weekend was great. We'll talk more about it. Men's basketball team goes on the road. Men's basketball somehow takes a back seat. Most wins ever in regular season history. Great job, Lamont. Great job.
Welcome to Columbia, Lamont.
Somehow it takes Camila Cardoso banking in a 3 on Saturday afternoon. It takes.
Which I mean, again, I was thinking about the rundown, and I was just saying, coach from Tennessee. Sometimes you make the right call and it doesn't work out because there's no reason why you should guard Camila Cardoso at the 3-point line. Why would you guard her? She's taken 2 in her career, and she made one of them, and that one was a bank shot from straight on. Impossible. You don't do that. So I hated it for that, coach, because, man, that's how you live with that.
And watching her just kind of collapse. I just, again, thrilled that Carolina won, but there's just that human element. Like, we've got it. Seriously, yeah. I just you just kind of felt for her.
Straight on bank shot, Bill. How you've watched, played, consumed basketball for a long time. Straight on bank. That in some places they don't even count that. They're like, nah, come on, man.
The straight on bank. I'm like, all right. Granted, I've been watching a lot of 6th grade, 12 and under AAU basketball, and the bank. This straight on bank shot. I watched one of our players this weekend make a corner bank shot. I've got a video on my phone that I'll show you later of we suffered a loss in AAU basketball Saturday afternoon on a left-handed running hook shot from 3-point range with 2 seconds left. I've seen some stuff. The straight on bank is something. We'll again. There's so much to get into this morning. A lot to get into. Preston's only here for an hour. Jamie Bradford will join us. If you want to join us this morning, 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. Again, 803-404-6100. And to get the program going, let's go out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Gamecock Larry wants to weigh in this morning. Gamecock Larry, how you feeling? What's on your mind?
Oh, I feel good. Bill, I agree with you 100%. Kim Mulkey is a disgrace to women's basketball. She don't care how her players play, and she is just as dirty as the players is, sticking your tongue out, flopping and all that. You will never see Dawn you won't see Dawn's players doing that, but she is a disgrace to women's basketball. And now, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, I was so happy when Camilla done got tired of everybody pulling her hair. What's that? Reese pulling her hair, pushing her around, and then that little girl gonna jump up there. Camilla shoved in the floor. I enjoyed that. Yes, I did. I just hate to see that Camilla got the way what she got, saying she started the fight. She ain't started no fight. She ended it. I almost ended it. But let me tell you, yes, sir. I didn't think I would ever see a team that I dislike more than Clemson Tigers, but the LSU Tigers basketball team. And another thing, you talk about a rivalry, Preston, 18 games in a row. Out of 18, we are 18-0 against LSU. Is that a rivalry? No, that's just Dawn Staley going against, well, I can't say old Monkey been there all the time, but man, she might be champion, but she ain't beat the Gamecocks. She can't say that. She ain't beat the Gamecocks. Now, another thing I want to say, good morning to all my friends out there. Boy, I got calls yesterday, and I got this and I got that. Gamecock, Nelson, CW, Jimmy, Root Bulldog, Bert, and all of them calling me. Because I told them, yes, ma'am, I'm glad to be a Gamecock. Our softball team didn't do too good, but I didn't even know we had a hockey team. But I see where the hockey team won some kind of championship. What more can I ask for? I'm glad I'm a Gamecock. I love all of y'all, and I'll talk to you later. Okay? Have a good day. Love all of y'all. Go Gamecocks, and I hope we do meet Kim Mulkey in the NCAAs. It'll be the same thing.
There you go, big guy. Good hearing from you this
Fired
morning.
up this morning.
He's ready to
Appreciate
go.
you.
Then he's right. Well, Gamecock hockey, national champion. Remind you about that one as well. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game.
The Game Network. The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Got something to say? Ring us up on the Love Chevy phone line. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer at 803-404-6100. Your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Bill Gunner for the Mortgage Guru. Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank. Jacob, of course, the mortgage guru in this. You've heard me talk about that before, but I know from personal experience just how great he is. Just several years ago, he was able to line up a great interest rate, put me in a condo that I have loved ever since. And you know what? He's ready to help you this morning. So go ahead and call. Get some information. Find out what interest rate you can get qualified for and how First Palmetto Bank and Jacob Crowder.
Hey, Brian, what was I talking about?
First Palmetto Bank is locally owned and operated right here in the Midlands. That means local.
You were the women's game last night?
And precise underwriting. You can get answers very quickly.
Oh, okay.
So call
Okay,
Jacob
perfect.
Crowder,
All right, hang on for me.
Mortgage Guru today.
Thank you.
803-719-1005, or you can email him the letter J Crowder at firstpalmetto.com. Don't wait another day. Find out what Jacob Crowder and First Palmetto Bank can do for you. 803-719-1005.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Mortgage team will work with you to tailor the loan to best fit your needs and budget. Apply for your mortgage today by visiting palmettocitizens.org or stopping by any of their 14 branches across the Midlands. Palmetto Citizens, proudly serving this community since 1936. Equal housing lender, NMLS ID number 449962. Approval based on credit worthiness. Certain restrictions may apply.
Bill Gunner for Dr. Dan Balknight and the Men's Clinic. Getting older is never fun. You start experiencing some symptoms that you're not accustomed to. Maybe it's brain fog. Maybe it's low energy level. Maybe it's lack of drive and motivation. But at the Men's Clinic, Dr. Dan Balknight is ready to help you with an individualized treatment that will treat your needs. So give him a phone call today, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS, or visit him on the web for more information, mensclinicsc.com.
The Carolina Cup races are Saturday, March 30th, presented by MUSC Health. The 89th running on the Springdale Racecourse, a pristine setting on green grass, beautiful pines under blue skies in Camden, South Carolina. Nothing rivals this great Southern tradition in steeplechase racing. The family fun event you do not want to miss. Incredible tailgating, shopping, food, and unique entertainment for everyone, including the True Vista Kids Zone. Get your tickets now at carolinacup.org. March 30th, rain or shine.
Hello, my name is Joe Wilson, Member of Congress. I'm honored to serve the people of the 2nd District of South Carolina and want to make sure you know that our office is here to help you. Red tape can be overwhelming, so if you need assistance with veterans benefits, Social Security, Medicare, or other issues, please contact the office at area code 803-939-0041 or the website joewilson.house.gov. We are here to help you. paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
Is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
Starting off your Monday morning, just one accident to make you aware of, and that's I-77 southbound at Shop Road. 65 for the high today, overnight low of 38. Hopefully that wraps that up of these kind of chillier mornings. Then Tuesday, tomorrow, 73 for the high, sunny skies, 77 on Wednesday. We had 80 on Thursday, and then by Friday, we see some afternoon or evening storms, and it looks like rain again through the weekend. We need to kind of get that shifted into the work week and stop having the rain on the weekends. But anyway, it looks like we'll be in the mid to upper 70s for the weekend, so that's good news here. So it's a little bit of a chilly start right now. It's 42 on the early game.
The Early Game with Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen, your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
621. As we roll along yesterday, as things were occurring, I was texting Preston and Jen. I was like, I got poll questions. Preston's got a poll question. Where are you going this morning with it?
Really quick poll question. As we're referring to the incident, how are we going to use this? How are we going to say this? Because my personal favorite is it was a brouhaha.
I do love a good brouhaha.
Good brouhaha. How are you referring to this? Scuffle, brouhaha, incident,
tussle.
A tussle. That's a good one. A little tussle, little scrap. How do we refer to this incident? My personal favorite leader in the clubhouse for me is brouhaha. Love a good brouhaha.
Okay.
So text in 803-404-6100. How are we referring to this?
Brouhaha. Tussle.
That's my personal favorite.
A little scuffle.
A little scuffle. Scuffle's good too.
Yeah.
A little scuffle.
A lot going on from the weekend. 803-404-6100. How do you want to refer to that? Hot sauce Ross goes with dust up.
Oh,
the old dust up.
Good one. Little dust up.
Little dust
if
up.
You put a little behind it, it just makes it feel like, it's a little dust up.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack from that whole situation, by the way. 803-404-6100. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Brian wants to weigh in, who is up in Greenville. Brian, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
I'm doing good, guys. How about y'all?
Doing good.
Doing well.
Hey, actually, I wasn't in Charlotte. Thank you. It kind of scared me there for a minute. It's early. It was real. But, I went to both games Saturday with 1 second left. I was going to text my buddy to ask if he could sell my tickets, and then I'm glad I didn't hit send on that text, so that worked out pretty good. But in regards to yesterday's incident, look, if you're an LSU fan, you see it one way, right? If you're a South Carolina fan, you see it the other way. I would say anybody that doesn't know or has a strong opinion, watch the press conferences from both coaches. Watch what is said. Listen to what is said. Listen to the tonality.
What's your name?
Listen to what is covered. Listen to what is talked about. And then you make a decision as to who do you want your kid to play for, and who do you want your coach to be.
I think that's a very fair assessment. As a matter of fact, it was somehow my Twitter timeline lined up where I had 2 tweets in a row from the great David Cloninger, and it was one tweet was saying, "I wish you would have pushed Angel Reese," and the other tweet was saying, "These two teams were not competitive."
Let's let you listen to these. Let's start. This is, I believe, right after the game on television. This was on ESPN. This is Dawn Staley apologizing for the fight right after. I believe this is going to be the cut right after the game that I had texted Preston. This is ESPN interviewing, so almost still raw emotion taking place, but this is Dawn Staley right after the game.
I mean, the players. It's all about the players being able to make plays on both sides of the basketball. I just want to apologize to the basketball community. When you're playing in championship games like this in our league, things get heated.
Okay, what is your name?
They just try their emotions.
Okay, hold on, please.
So far ahead of them that sometimes these things happen. So I want to apologize for us playing a part in that, because that's not who we are and that's not what we're about. But I'm happy for the players that were able to finish the game and get us another championship.
And then I know we're picking and choosing. In all seriousness, I know we're being a little picky and choosy on this and slanting it a slight bit toward South Carolina. But this is Kim Mulkey in the press conference after the game. This is Kim Mulkey.
I think it's really interesting that you're noting this. This is one directly after with all the emotions running, and this is another one who's had a minute to compose herself, gather her thoughts, and then
that was Dawn immediately after the game. That was on the court before the celebration took place. And this is Kim Mulkey in the press conference 15 minutes or so after the game. Here's Kim Mulkey saying something I thought was a little out of line.
But I can tell you this. I wish she would have pushed Angel Reese. Don't push a kid. You 6'8". Don't push somebody that little. That was uncalled for, in my opinion. Let those two girls that were jawing, let them go at it.
Really? Let me tell you, if I was a bad coach like that, I would have said to the Gamecocks, hey, Angel Reese has a bad ankle, nail it. Do a Karate Kid to her. Take her out. If that's what Kim Mulkey is saying that we should be doing, then let it happen to them.
That's classless. And by the way, Kim, we all wish she would have pushed Angel Reese instead. Yes, you're right. We're not a big fan of Flau'jae Johnson either. But yes, Kim, we're Gamecock Nation is with you. We wish she would have shoved Angel Reese to the ground too.
It would have been worth it for Curtis to have missed the first game in the NCAA tournament.
Oh man. Again, great character development.
Mm-hmm.
Great character development.
She's big.
Kim hit us with a wish you would have. I didn't expect to hear that. That's a good one. Wish you would have. That's a good one.
I just between Angel Reese yesterday and Kim Mulkey, again,
that's
I'm with it. I can't believe.
But Bill, I feel like you've been trying to be a diplomat about this whole time. I feel like Jen and I have been trying to lay this case out for you, and it's like yesterday. Your eyes were opened, and you were like, oh. And I feel like Jen and I were kind of like, yeah. This is who they are. This is who they've been. I feel like you were trying to be very diplomatic about this.
Yeah, and the girls are going to be
no.
They reflect what their coach is telling them.
No. I can't believe that I despise LSU. It's not that I was. It's a level of like, wow, I really do not like this team. I can't believe as I'm sitting there yesterday, enjoying my afternoon, having a bourbon, having a cigar, enjoying the NASCAR race, enjoying the golf, watching the basketball, listening. I was listening to the baseball. It was a very nice afternoon. And I found myself literally blood pressure rising, being like, I really do not. Clemson doesn't make me feel this way. Dabo Swinney is annoying. I can't believe I think Kim Mulkey is far more annoying, and I dislike her more than that. I can't believe that if these two were standing there, I would go stand next to Dabo Swinney and be like, she's an awful person. 803-404-6100. We'll get back out to the phone lines, and we'll continue rolling along here. Obviously, men's basketball. We'll get into that.
They played too.
and won in overtime. A great game. Zach Davis stepped up huge. We'll talk about that. 803-404-6100. It's the morning show.
The Game Network. The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Download the 107.5 The Game app and listen anywhere. The beach, the gym, and yes, even there. Go to iTunes or Google Play and snag the 107.5 The Game app.
Preston here. Let me tell you about my friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, that's no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace for you. Yes, they'll come out to wherever you are, whether you're at school, whether you're at home, whether you're at work, wherever you are. They will come to you and replace it for you, usually for free, and they work directly with the insurance company to take away the headache. Now, if you're sitting at home and you're looking to increase the value of your home, Absolute Glass can take care of that too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. I say all the time, if you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at absoluteglassinc.com. That's online at absoluteglassinc.com.
On the baseline, shoots it up over Vanover. Got it!
I take a lot of pride in being from South Carolina. It's part of why I chose the school. I just want them to know, man, I got love for this school. I think the school loves me as well. And just a guy that gave it his all while he was here and just made continuous improvement and just a winner, man. A guy that really wanted to win and left it all on the court every time.
Everyone says they care about the team and they care about winning, but, you know, I think this group especially is all about winning.
When I'm in the huddle with my teammates, when we on the road, when we going up against somebody, I just always tell them, be us. Be who we are. Don't try to be nobody else. Like, you can look at it and be like, well, doing something right now. You know what I'm saying? We just want to stay on that path. You know, stay on that path to greatness and stay on that path to march.
Card savings. Visit their Columbia area locations or handandstone.com to unlock online deals. Restrictions apply. See spa for details. The 89th running of the Carolina Cup Races presented by MUSC Health. March 30th in Camden, South Carolina. It's where spring begins. Make your plans now to attend this great Southern tradition for the best tailgating, entertainment, fashion, and fun for kids and adults of all ages. Gates open at 9 a.m. rain or shine. Come see fantastic thoroughbreds, jump the fences, and race to victory. Get your tickets now and plan to party with family and friends all day. Visit carolinacup.org for tickets and details. Don't miss it. Saturday, March 30th.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100. Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
I-77 northbound at Shop Road, exit 6. That would be the only accident to speak of this morning at this point, and we're going to welcome only one accident this morning. Please be safe out there as you head to work. 65 will be our high today. That overnight low tomorrow, chilly, 38. And come Tuesday, 73 for the high and overnight low 45. Then we keep warming up. Wednesday, 77. We hit 80 potentially on Thursday, and then mid to upper 70s throughout the weekend, but chances for rain again through the weekend. Chillier start, though, kind of a layering thing this morning. It's 42 on the early game.
what you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Make them use some time. Jeffries throws the heave down court. Tolu Smith catches it, gives it off to Davis. His three is short. That one is tipped in the air. And for the 25th time this season, you can put Spurs on this one. In overtime, South Carolina defeats Mississippi State 93-89.
That was the call from the end of the men's game. Oh, yeah, they played this weekend. Lamont Paris and the men's team wrap it up in style on the road, 93-89 after a wild finish to send us to overtime, but South Carolina gets the job done.
Look how far we've come. That the 25th win of the season, it's like, no big thing. We've got more important stuff to talk about. If you could just think, man, this team's going to win 25 wins and it's going to be in the C block of the show, who would have thought?
It took a lot. Let's be honest. It took banking in a three and a brouhaha.
My favorite.
To move it to the third segment. It wasn't just, South Carolina won another SEC tournament championship. South Carolina Dawn Staley's team had to do it in some epic fashion to take away from it. But you're right, 25 wins on the season, 13 conference victories, Preston Thorne. We will do this later this week. There's a lot we want to get into before you have to get out of here at 7 a.m. But I want you to stew on this one. Let it marinate for a day or two. Now that the regular season is over, is this the greatest turnaround from one season to the next in South Carolina sports history? And I think we all agree that you are a part of the other one that is up for debate. I believe that's going to be the only other season that is somewhat comparable, going from 0-11 and then the arrival of Preston Thorne to 8-4 in 2000. But basketball and football obviously different, 11-21. But man, the way they lost some of those games last year and this year, and to go on the road and win in the manner that they have, I kind of lean to this.
It's very fair. It's very fair because the question I was wondering is, let's back burner that. To answer your question, it's worth a consideration.
Yeah,
you'd have to decide what you value. I think the only thing going in favor of that South Carolina team from way back yonder is there's something about not winning at all. Like a goose egg is like, that's really difficult. But as you state, also I would point out that team didn't win any games. But this basketball team routinely got beat by 40 last year. I mean, it wasn't like it just happened once. It happened several occasions last year where they would just get their doors blown off the gym whenever they were playing there. So I think it is probably more of a conversation than most people realize as far as the turnaround is concerned.
And we'll do it again. We'll do that more so later in the week. But this was a game Saturday afternoon, which again, South Carolina does what they kind of do. They get hold of the lead. They really never relinquish it. You get the tie game at the very end, but B.J. Mack, monstrous performance, 25 points on Saturday, 7 of 8 from the foul line. Remember that quote? Holly, this is cool and it's fun to go back and just revisit some things that Lamont Paris has said and be like, there you go. For example, after the Georgia loss, they're D1 players. They have to learn how to make free throws. South Carolina on Saturday, 20 of 24 from the free throw line. BJ Mack 7 of 8 from the foul line.
And again, we noted that when that would happen last year, a lot of coaches around the country would have said, our guys are working really hard and we'll see how things go. It's tough on them. No, he was like, you're a Division I player. You need to be able to make free throws. And he was very clear. And it wasn't throwing them under the bus. It wasn't any of that. It was just stating what all of us can clearly see. And I feel like that carried over through practice and through time. And obviously the team is executing on that.
9 of 28 from three-point range. Now, that 28 number, remember, they shot a lot against Tennessee, and we kind of said, they weren't very aggressive. This one, you take 28 threes. Michie Johnson took 11 of them. But you also still got to the line. Just 10 free throws Wednesday night against Tennessee. You shoot 24 in this game.
That's the huge difference. And again, I don't know if it's actual numbers. That's why sometimes you can't just look at the box, because the 3-pointers that they were shooting against Tennessee was just the ball was just going around the perimeter. They were throwing it around, and then somebody would take a 3 at the end of the shot clock. These threes were dribble, drive, penetrate, kick out. They were better shots. Now, they're probably going to have to make a few more of those if they want to advance as the tournament moves on, but these were better quality shots than the Tennessee game.
Another number, another stat that really jumped out at me, something we talked about, 5-0. You want to take a guess on what that was? 5-0. 5 assists, no turnovers. Talon Cooper. Remember, just two on Wednesday. No turnovers against Tennessee. But Saturday afternoon, 7 points, 5 assists for Talon Cooper. He only grabbed 1 rebound, but 40 minutes of action and not a single turnover. South Carolina had 20 team assists, just 8 turnovers in 45 minutes of game action.
My favorite play for the whole game was when Talon missed the layup at the end of the game. And he was so frustrated. Zach came and followed up, got the and one, and he wanted to celebrate with him. You could just see in his face. He was like, come on, man. How
well, and again, I had been coaching AAU basketball all morning, and I had seen a lot of missed layups. And then to watch a college player go in left-handed and blow the bunny.
He was so mad. He was like, come on. I mean, they had an and one after that. Everybody else was excited. He's just looking like, really? I blew it. A layup? Come on, man.
And he kind of got run over by Zach Davis in the whole foul situation. Yeah. Talon Cooper, 5 assists on Saturday. No turnovers for him. We will come back at some point to this basketball team because there's so many small things. And one of them is, where do we rate Talon Cooper in all-time great Gamecock point guards? Because unfortunately for us, it's only 1 year. And this is the transfer portal. Because if Talon Cooper had been here 2 or 3 years, I think we're having a discussion about his greatness and where he's at in the point guard lore of South Carolina.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's what was so interesting to me, because you rarely see very much emotion out of him. And so just to see sort of like and it wasn't even a lot. He wasn't even demonstrative, but you could see the disappointment in his face. Like, come on, Talon. Like, he was talking to himself. How you going to blow a layup? But he's steady, cool. What Jen was talking about, you talk about players being a reflection of their coaches. It very much looks like Talon is just an extension of Lamont out on the court. Just the same type of demeanor, the same way that he handles the team. It seems like that's exactly how that works.
A couple other things. Colin Murray-Boyles, talk about efficient, 9 of 10 for 19 points. And I do want to, again, another one. Are we watching Zach Davis grow up before our eyes?
Yeah.
There's a lot with this basketball team. 803-404-6100. But let's get back out to the Love Chevy Fun Lines. Got about a minute here, Alex. But he wants to weigh in on brouhaha. What do you got, Alex?
I'm with the brouhaha. My thing, man, is Kim Mulkey. She does this thing when she was at Baylor. Also, they had an incident, if I'm not mistaken. The girls had a fight down with, I want to say Tulsa, was the school. She tries to intimidate the officials to call a game the way that she wanted for her players. Now, in this aspect of what they did to the Gamecocks, number 4 that instigated the whole thing, she should have been gone. Because she started it. She not only did it once, she did it twice. She hit twice. She hit Wiley, and then she turned around and chest bump or throw a forearm into number 12. She should have been ejected. Also, the point guard for LSU also should have been ejected. Because if you look at the film and you watch the game, she came from the floor and went to the back and pushed Cardoso. The injection that they did, it was not fair. Even though Cardoso got ejected, the other 2 girls should have got ejected also. That's my thing. You guys have a great day.
Appreciate the phone call, Alex.
Well, it's the referee's fault that the thing even happened, that the tussle even happened, according to Kim.
That was the one good point I actually thought she made about saying that they had played and there had only been 1 foul on each side. And to her point, I kind of actually was like, okay. When she made that comment, I was like, oh, good. Mulkey's going to kind of, and then she veered wildly left.
I'll tell you what.
And I went, oh, no, okay. Well, we'll continue on one more segment with old Preston Thorne here. You listen to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
The Game Network. The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Listen to Gamecocks baseball on The Game. And if a Gamecocks batter hits a grand slam, you could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash in the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. Go to 1075thegame.com and register. Brought to you by Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union and The Game.
Preston here. Let me tell you about my friends at Integrated Media. It's time to get yourself ready. We've told you all year, and now we're back, and the spring is here. So get your outdoors ready. You can do it with Samsung Terrace TVs. Get them waterproof Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music. Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors. Or my personal favorite, controlling all your devices from just one remote. From home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security systems from your cell phone, Integrated Media is the company that you need to call. So call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or check them out online at integratedmediainc.com. That's online at integratedmediainc.com.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by LL Flooring. LL Flooring, every step covered. Baker Mayfield bet on himself last season and enjoyed a career year. He led Tampa to the NFC South title and an NFC divisional playoff appearance. His success has been rewarded with a 3-year contract worth up to $115 million, including incentives. Congratulations, Baker. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio.
If you're a pro and flooring is your game, we'll help you win it. Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. You want decor?
Try.
You want plumbing?
You're out.
LL Flooring has been helping pros knock it out of the park for over 30 years. Visit one of our 400 nationwide warehouses for one-on-one service, extensive inventory, and exclusive pro pricing. Get the pro treatment you deserve. Enroll today, online or in-store. LL Flooring, every step covered.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The 89th running of the Carolina Cup Races presented by MUSC Health. March 30th in Camden, South Carolina. It's where spring begins. Make your plans now to attend this great Southern tradition for the best tailgating, entertainment, fashion, and fun for kids and adults of all ages. Gates open at 9 a.m., rain or shine. Come see fantastic thoroughbreds, jump the fences, and race to victory. Get your tickets now and plan to party with family and friends all day. Visit carolinacup.org for tickets and details. Don't miss it. Saturday, March 30th.
There's something remarkable about the University of South Carolina. It's in the labs, where researchers are discovering ways to make communities healthier and stronger. It's in the nation's best first-year student experience, in top-ranked programs in nursing and health sciences. It's where more South Carolina students have access to higher education than ever before. Because when you stand for something bigger than yourself, you could create something that benefits us all. Behold, the remarkable we.
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen. Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
What do you got?
I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
It's all be remiss I know we can have a lot of serious discussion because this is a serious matter and it's a very strong topic, and we have to lament the state of the world whenever a little dust up happens.
Fisticuffs.
Little fisticuffs happen, and all of a sudden we all have to figure out how the world is going to spin the next day. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention there was one man who came skipping down the court. I don't know if you saw this, man. He was part of the security team, not the security guy who caught the jerk that was jumping out of the
Flo-J Johnson.
Floja's brother.
Get him out of there. I hope he sat down for a little bit last night.
Mm-hmm.
Because that security guard jumped over a table very quickly.
That was impressive.
Very impressive athletic feat. But there was another security guard coming, and he was just skipping along. He was skipping, and this is what I say: if you see a security guard skipping to a scuffle, he's coming with bad intentions. He was coming as if like, I've been waiting for this for a long. I've
been waiting for you.
You've got to. When you rewatch this video, there's a security man. He had on some badge, very unassuming. He was a big fella, and he was skipping down the court. And listen here, you see security skipping towards an altercation. It's not going to be good for somebody.
Because obviously he's almost too calm.
Very
so
calm.
He is very much thinking
he was very
of what's
much
coming.
assessing the situation, and he was like, "I'm gonna get you." It like he's doing like the equalizer type of thing. He's just picking people off, and in his mind, he was just skipping and singing. So he was the second MVP. The first MVP was the security guard police officer who got.
Did you see the couple memes? I think that came out on Flo-J Johnson's brother. It was, once he got on the court, he realized how big Cardoso was. Like, ooh, I might have bit off a little bit more than I could chew.
Like I said,
he pulled he got behind somebody, was like, hold me back.
And seriously, what was he gonna do?
Yeah, definitely. He just needed to sit down and think about his actions last night. He can get out today.
He sat down in a 4x4. What is a 4x4 cell with an orange?
It was fine.
Orange warm up.
He can get out today. It's cool. We don't need to do anything too serious. But just you go to a corner for a little while and think about it.
It was unfortunate. In all seriousness, it was unfortunate, but you just could see that coming.
It was brewing.
It was brewing, and again, it speaks, I think, volumes to the South Carolina has established themselves as the program in women's basketball. They're going to get everybody's best shot, which makes it more impressive what they've done this year, winning these games by double digits, and which makes it even more laughable at times. We're like, oh, they were only up by 7 at halftime. What's wrong with this basketball team? This was a game in which it's LSU's game. We're going to talk trash. They don't have a deep bench.
Yeah, but it's amazing the spin, because you have Angel Reese and crew talking about they're not scared of South Carolina, but newsflash, you are the national champions. You are the one who have all your players returning from last year's squad and added to that team. This South Carolina team is brand new. Why would you be scared of this whole new group of very young players? And so it's this weird narrative that's sort of playing. You're the national championship. Well, how do you play like you're the underdog?
I wonder, do you remember in Dawn's first national championship, there was a small narrative, if you remember, that it didn't count. It didn't count.
I got you.
Because remember, Mississippi State beat Connecticut on a floater there late in the game, and South Carolina beat Mississippi State, and there was it was kind of the UConn people, and then there was even, it seemed like ESPN at times were like, well, they didn't beat Connecticut. Well, you're not the one that took down. And I haven't heard that as much last year. Granted, I didn't pay quite as much attention right after South Carolina got eliminated by Iowa, but that LSU, as Gamecock Larry pointed out, LSU's lost 18 in a row. Good job, LSU. You won the national championship last year, but you didn't take down the team. And you lost in the regular season. You lost badly. And you almost wonder if that's in their mind of like, yeah, we were national champions, but we beat Iowa. Or we beat the Caitlin Clarks.
It might be something to that.
And there is that part. They can't get over it. I don't know whether I want to see LSU again in the NCAA tournament. Or you want to see South Carolina. We'll see again how it all shakes out in terms of the bracketology and so forth and so on. We'll get more into bracketology. Preston again is going to get out of here. Before I do that, a very quick Thorns, Bud, Roses. Anything else from the weekend that
Thorns? Flo-J's brother, get him out of here. I do not condone or like, and to be honest, it is part of youth sports culture where parents feel like they need to be so involved in these games.
Mhm.
You see this happening more and more. Get him out of there.
Yep.
Buds, the 3-point shot for Gamecocks is growing. Roses for the security guard.
There you go.
My man, he was on point. He jumped over the ball, got him, had him apprehended, and going backwards in a split second.
Yep.
Shout
Impressive.
out to you.
We got a full day tomorrow.
We got
a full week.
We got
We
so
got a
much to
full
talk
week.
about, man. But I'm on my way up to Greenville. Shout out to Four Shows. We'll be there in a little while.
Nice.
Sounds good. Good luck.
Appreciate
Safe
y'all.
travels. Bill Gunner for the men's clinic. You know what? I'm 41 years old and getting older for a lot of us, man. Well, it's no fun at all. Things start to happen. We're not real sure why, but you need someone who's going to specialize in you, because when you start to experience some of these things, such as low energy levels, lack of drive and motivation, maybe you're like me, Jen will testify to this, struggles with concentration and memory. These are the kind of things that aren't just normal. They're not regular. You need to contact Dr. Dan Balknight with the men's clinic. There's no one-size-fits-all approach here. It's individual, and it's tailored specifically to your needs. So line up an appointment today and speak with a professional. Dr. Dan Balknight with the men's clinic, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS. For more information, visit them on the web, mensclinicsc.com. Call Dr. Dan Balknight today. Get a free testosterone test. Maybe that's all you need, but contact them today, 803-875-MENS.
The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence, knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered. Stop by.
Punxsutawney Phil has an overall accuracy rating of 36% nationally. This was in 2021, 36% nationally. Now, those numbers can get skewed a little bit because in the Northeast, it tends to be colder for longer. But when you extrapolate his numbers out for the rest of the regions in the Southwest, the Southeast, Punxsutawney Phil, the fraud, only gets up to 50% nationally. Only 50%. You're saying, oh, what does that mean? That's still pretty good. It's not. It's not. There are 6 other rodent prognosticators that are above Punxsutawney Phil. Number 1, our guy, General Beauregard Lee. General Beauregard Lee has a 63% accuracy rating nationally, 70% when you extrapolate it for just the South. This guy is crushing Punxsutawney Phil, but yet we still are talking about Punxsutawney Phil. He's a fraud, Bill. He's a fraud. Not only that, Buckeye Chuck. This guy, Buckeye Chuck, is crushing. He's number 2. But you know who else is ahead of him? Let me go to my list.
Who exactly is Buckeye Chuck?
Buckeye Chuck is in Ohio, Bill.
Makes sense.
Bad. I got. Thank goodness. We got to
Buckeye
that
Chuck
one.
is in Ohio. But let's go to this list. We got Jimmy the Groundhog.
Oh, just Jimmy.
Jimmy the Groundhog. Lander Lil. Stormy the Marmot. Smomish Slew. Finally, after all of those guys, we come down to Punxsutawney Phil. But who gets all the credit? Who gets all the notoriety? Punxsutawney Phil. And it's only because he was there a long, long time ago. He was an originator. I'll give you credit. He was an originator. But the game of guessing and predicting weather has passed him by. He's a fraud. It's overrated. It's time for him to get out the game. Give the throne to General Beauregard Lee. All I'm saying is he's overrated. All of this celebration. These people.
Yeah, you got to get this live stream. We're watching.
It's not about.
How would you describe this?
There's a big
singer?
celebration on, but you know what about these people? It's not about the game anymore. It's about something else. They have ruined the celebrity prognosticator game for these rodents because these guys are working hard. Buckeye Chuck,
are they?
He's working. He's accurately predicting things. Beauregard Lee, 70%, and he can't get any love across the South. No love. Everybody talks about Punxsutawney Phil. I'm saying it right now. If Tony Field gets this wrong today, get him out of here.
I'm going to go with
Put
the
him-
odds are not good.
Put him in the garbage. 36%, of course it's not good. It's what he does nationally.
In 5, The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
The theme of this show. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
What a weekend. What a weekend. Basketball, baseball, and let's give a shout out. The University of South Carolina Gamecocks are national champions. That's right. Gamecock hockey over the weekend claims the national championship. I believe it's club level. AAU is what the poster says. Doesn't matter. Claim it. Sign it up. Joining me now, well-known hockey aficionado, guru, Jamie Bradford, who, we could talk baseball and some basketball took place, but yeah, you're here strictly for Gamecock hockey in this national championship discussion.
Yeah, I'm all over it. I'm your Mark. I'm your Barry. What was his name? Barry Gilmore. What was the guy on ESPN?
I don't know because I was about to go Barry Manilow. No, that's not right. Barry Melrose, I believe. Melrose. I was close.
Melrose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. That's me.
Nice.
Barry Melrose.
Nice
Barry
facial.
Melrose Bradford.
Nice facial hair. Great slicked back hair. You are. That is Jamie Bradford to a T. But no, congratulations to Gamecock hockey. You can follow them on Twitter and wish them well at Cock Hockey. I know I saw Shane Beamer sending out a tweet to them. Shane has gone out and dropped the puck before, and they do have actually the really, really, really nice sweaters is what they're called. If you haven't seen them, I don't know if those are sold around here, if they're sold at Traditions or they're sold at some of the bookstores. But I got to admit, Jamie, those sweaters that the Gamecock hockey team has, they're all of them are pretty sweet.
No, those are cool. Those are cool. Yeah, absolutely. I don't mean to minimize anything. Congratulations to them. I mean, if you think about it, that's pretty neat. I mean, think about the teams that they beat. I think they beat like Boston or something to win the hockey national. Along the way, somewhere I didn't get a chance to really like keep up with it, but
beat Buffalo.
That's
took down Buffalo.
Buffalo. Yeah, you'd like to think the Buffalo's hockey team is going to be better than South Carolina's, but they weren't. So congratulations to the Gamecocks, and congratulations to Jamisha Ford, who won the women's indoor 200-meter national championship and the 4x400 women's relay team that she was a part of. They won a national championship too for South Carolina track and field. So three national champions this weekend.
Incredible. A great weekend all the way around. The unfortunate thing, softball, just tough games for Bev Smith's team. 2 1-run losses on the weekend. That was the downside. One of those came in extra innings. They were in College Station for the series, the conference season opener against Texas A&M. Texas A&M was ranked 17th. The Gamecocks swept there. They lost 3-0, 2-1 in 10 innings on Saturday, and yesterday 2-1 to Texas A&M. They'll get going again with the Garnet and Black Invitational starting this coming weekend. Boston, Michigan State, Minnesota, North Carolina State, Northwestern all in town for Bev Smith's team before another SEC series. But a lot occurred, Jamie. We joked to open the show I should take this wheel over here that we use, the Wheel of Misfortune, and just re-update it for Wheel of Conversation Day and spin it. Whatever it lands on, we jump to. But we'll start with basketball. A lot to get to in baseball, obviously, heading toward their first SEC series. But yesterday, that was wild. And I said this, Jamie, I'll get your opinion. I don't know how you consumed yesterday emotionally, how you felt watching that game. I now believe it's fluid. This changes. LSU is my most despised. LSU women's basketball is my most despised team that in across all sports that South Carolina plays. Kim Mulkey has moved ahead of Dabo Sweeney. LSU women's basketball ahead of anything Clemson has tried to do right now. That'll change in a few weeks, I'm sure. But man, oh man, that one felt great. And I thought back, by the way, Jen, to something I said when South Carolina played at LSU. I don't know if I'd ever watched a South Carolina game where I wanted South Carolina to win more the way LSU was acting in Baton Rouge. And yesterday I felt the same way, Jamie.
Yeah, that's so I think as much of the story that was told during the game, I think even more of it was told after the game, and how Dawn Staley and Kim Mulkey addressed the situation. You know, Dawn addressed it from a respect for the game of basketball standpoint, and Kim addressed it from the standpoint that makes us all understand a lot better where her team gets their chippiness and their you know, the way that, you know, their lack of sportsmanship, however you want to describe that.
Thugness.
I mean, it's kind of, yeah, right. I mean, it was kind of reflected in her post-game press conference. Like, and I've said plenty of times on our program, I like Kim Mulkey as a coach. She's an excellent coach. I mean, she really is. She's a great basketball coach. But all the extra stuff that comes with it, like, I mean, truth be told, I think there's only a couple minutes to go in the second quarter, and the group that I was watching the game with, I said, you just feel like something bigger is coming here, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm not so sure I'd blame it all on the officials, because a lot of it was done without them being able to see it, you know, but you know, as the game went on, I mean, obviously the hair pull was something you don't condone what Camila Cardoso did at all. But, you know, I mean, I think everybody has heard Dawn or has even spoken to Dawn directly about Camila Cardoso since she's been here. And Dawn has said how many times that this is an exceptional human being. And so my question is, how much does it take to get somebody like that who's at the pinnacle of her career? The day before, she hit the shot that resonated across the entire landscape of the sport on the men's and women's side, right? So she's front and center. She's front and center. She's a smart basketball player. She represented her country. Her whole family, or not her whole family, but her mom and her sister are flown up here from Brazil. She has every reason to go out there and play the game well, stay in the game, not overreact. So how much does it take for somebody to snap like that who has zero background of snapping, right? Think about that for a second. How far do you have to push somebody to snap like that? And as a, you know, and I would love to sit in a room and talk with her today about what we didn't see, because I guarantee you there's plenty that we didn't see and didn't hear and things like that. So, you know, it was hard to keep it under control. I felt like the officials missed some. I felt like there's some they probably let go they'd like to have back, but not going to blame it all on them. But mostly it's on LSU. And guys, I mean, Preston, Bill, Jen, we've all played. We all understand how it is. Teams that chirp and act like that, right? It's when they start losing, the other team is going to, if they've held it in and tried to be the bigger person the whole time, and then you're beating the team that's acting like that, there's a piece of you that's going to come apart and unravel a little bit and kick the can and disturb it. And that's what happened. South Carolina snapped. And you shouldn't, but I understand why they did. And at the end of the day, once again, they can point to the scoreboard and say, hey, look, you can keep doing this crap, but we keep beating you. So at some point in time, you're going to have to win one of these games for all those words and hair pulls and shoves and whatever else to matter.
Yeah, in terms of the incident itself, and I go back to this, if you're in Camilla's place, if you're kind of watching it from her angle, a couple things here on this. She had been beaten up throughout that game. It was very clear that LSU's job or LSU had decided that they were going to physically go after her some in inappropriate ways with hair pulling, some other situations there. They were working to get under her skin and eliminate her. Look, it's not right, but Jamie, you've played sports. If you've played basketball, you know that sometimes it's, hey, be extra physical with this one player because we can mentally take them out of their game. That's number one. Number two, as you're watching that play from Camilla's spot, one thing you notice is it probably wasn't as bad as it looked, but the elbow that Flau'jae Johnson throws on Ashlyn Watkins, if you're looking at it and you're Camilla Cardoso or you're anybody for the University of South Carolina, you're like, that's the end. That was an elbow. I mean, that was a blatant elbow. Again, if you look at it, you slow it down, you really take time. It's not as bad as it looks, but it's blatant, and it looks bad. It looks bad. Again, it didn't connect with a neck or with a chin, but it looks bad. And three, go back and watch. I'm not saying that Flau'jae Johnson flopped, but I will say I don't think she was ready for it. And the fall looks a lot worse than what Camilla actually did. Like the fall, if you watch it when it happens, you're like, whoa, Cardoso just decked her. And I've accidentally hit somebody like that in basketball before, trying to run over the skull. And me, a smaller guy, 5'6", hit a bigger guy one time and knocked him to the ground. I thought he was going to get up and knock my teeth out. And it wasn't that I had gone, it was just they were kind of off balance. My angle hit him. And I think that's part of it with Camilla as well. I look, as everybody would say, you don't condone it, but man, this escalated, and some of it's on the referees as well.
Yeah, and I know we're up against the break, so I won't be long-winded, but it just felt like a matter of time. And I go back to the human brain, somebody who never snaps like that. Has anybody ever seen Camilla Cardoso? I mean, I'm not talking about playing with an edge now. I'm talking about totally being unsportsmanlike or snapping. Has anybody ever seen anything like that? Has there ever been one case of her doing anything like that?
None that we know of.
Nope. Exactly.
None that we know of.
So why? The question is what? Don took the high road, but they'll file that one away, and hopefully they'll see him in the Final Four.
803-404-6100 if you want to text in this morning. We will get into some men's basketball with Jamie. Whew, what a weekend for them. What a season for them. We'll get into all of that. You're listening to Jamie Bradford joining us this morning. Bill Gunner, Sheehan Jensen. It is the early game.
The Game Network. The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality. The Game TV.
You heard me mention a little while ago. Yesterday was beautiful. It was a little windy, but I tell you what, with spring coming now, with springing forward, it's grilling season, folks. That's right. Yesterday, I got the old smoker out, and thank you to Old Timey Meat Market. Made the stop by on Saturday, picked up some great fish. We smoked a little fish yesterday, and you know what? That's what time of year it is. It's time to get out into the backyard and start using that grill or smoker again. And the first thing you got to do is go by Old Timey Meat Market. You can even find a great Traeger grill there. That's right. You can go find a great Traeger grill or smoker to go along with all those incredible cuts of meat. Whether you're like me and you want to go with some fish, maybe you want to go with a great steak, maybe you want to go with some pork chops or chicken. The point being is Old Timey Meat Market has you taken care of. All three locations, South Congaree, the St. Andrews Road in Irma, or the Lexington store. Stop by Old Timey Meat Market this week. It's grilling season. Get by Old Timey Meat Market and get one of those great selections of meat.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studios. This is 107.5 The Game. A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
There's something remarkable about
Yeah.
or we can help you design a custom ring that meets your exact specifications. So do your homework and see what diamonds are selling for online, and then come see us. You'll get exactly what you want at the very best price. Only at Traditions Fine Jewelers, 5134 Sunset Boulevard in Lexington and in Sandhills, where the Midlands get engaged.
March into serenity and relaxation with the Spring Madness Member for a Day sale at Hand and Stone. Receive product savings, member price services, and gift card savings. Visit their Columbia area locations or handandstone.com to unlock online deals. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service, Guy Gant's company. Guy Gant's not with us anymore, but his girls are the Gant girls. You know, Chelsea and Madison. You know some of the things they do at Pioneer Tree Service? Tree and shrub removal, tree pruning and thinning, tree planting, tree bracing, raising tree canopies, stump grinding removal, storm damage services, property cleaning and grading, demolition and rock removal, right-of-way maintenance. You got to get in touch with these people. 803-794-8253. Let me give you that again. 803-794-8253. Call right now and get a free estimate for the most challenging jobs, Pioneer Tree Service. So you're going to want to call somebody you can trust, and that is the Gant girls at Pioneer Tree Service.
803-794-8253. Or find us online at pioneertreesc.com.
Call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
Is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
Taking a peek of the traffic conditions out there this morning. I-77 northbound at Shop Road. That's the only accident they're working, getting that cleared up for you. And we're looking for a high today of 65, overnight low. Going to be another chilly morning tomorrow, 38 to start the morning. But then a high of 73 tomorrow, 77 Wednesday, 80 for Thursday. We'll take that. And then mid to upper 70s really throughout the weekend, but chances of showers are on the increase. Right now, though, it's a layering day of 42 on the early game.
The early game with Phil Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen. Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Reminder, coming up April the 5th at Charwood Golf Club. It's the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Tournament, and it's time for you to get registered, signed up today. Call out to Charwood, $400 for a foursome. So if you're doing math on that, it's $100 per person. But get signed up. These spots go quick. Call Charwood today, 803-755-2000. It'll be the 10 a.m. shotgun start on Friday, April the 5th. That'll be Final Four weekend. For all you know, we could be breaking down a potential championship game between South Carolina and LSU, or maybe a Final Four game that night, depending on how the brackets shake out. But you want to get registered today. 803-755-2000. Call Charwood to register today. We'll have a mimosa bar sponsored by Saki's Wine and Spirits. We'll have breakfast. We'll have lunch. We're going to have some incredible giveaways and raffle prizes. You'll want to come out and see all of us. Come visit Charwood Golf Club. Get signed up today for the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Tournament. Again, the date for that April 5th, Friday, April 5th, 10 a.m. shotgun start, $400 for your team for a foursome. Call and get registered. Call Charwood today, 803-755-2000 is how you can do that. Jamie Bradford joining us as he does each and every morning. In that segment, we got some very good insight on South Carolina hockey, which is one of the reasons that we brought him on. In this segment, I turn our attention to the huge, I don't know if it was an upset last night, Jen and Jamie, but Bradley Cooper cannot win an Oscar again. That was the 10th time he has failed to take home a Oscar award, the Best Actor category, losing to, is it Cillian? Am I saying that correctly? Cillian Murphy, who played was the lead role in Oppenheimer. Jamie, how much of an upset?
Yeah, I didn't watch the Oscars.
Yeah,
I didn't
neither
know
did
they
I.
were out last night. So
You mean they're making movies somewhere?
Somewhere.
Yeah,
I watched Air last. I actually watched not Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, on the Jordan signing with Nike. Pretty good movie, actually.
Oh, really?
that's a great movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't
Air.
seen that. The Duncan commercial for Super Bowl is great.
Yeah.
I thought that was good. Yeah, I've just have kind of boycotted the Oscars. I just don't like how they've.
Opinion. All right.
No,
well,
sorry.
no opinion on Bradley Cooper, who I actually have become a huge fan of missing. I took his mom last night with him as his date to the Oscars. So
I love
pretty cool.
that. That's very sweet.
Pretty cool. Okay, well, all right, folks. Sorry, we're not going to give you an Oscar breakdown this morning. Let's turn our attention to men's basketball. Jamie, we've run out of superlatives to talk about this basketball team and the job that Lamont Paris has done. And speaking of not winning an Oscar, there's really no reason. There's no coach, at least in the SEC, that deserves Coach of the Year more than Lamont Paris for the job he's done with this team, with bringing them together. 25 victories, the most ever in the regular season for South Carolina basketball. 13 conference wins. It's magical what Lamont Paris has done.
You're running out of words and sentences and ways to describe it. And they've won a couple of games late, and I think the kind of the form or fashion that they're probably going to need to win one if they advanced far enough in the SEC tournament, and then again in the NCAA tournament. The 82-76 victory over Florida, probably playing a little bit above where they generally do. And then, of course, having to go to overtime on the road at Mississippi State and put 93 on the board. They gave up 89. That's not ideal for the way that they do it defensively. But, Bill, you know what I'm saying here. Like, think about everything that was going into that ball game. Mississippi State had lost 3 in a row. Like, they're not on the outside looking in, but they were pretty darn close to, that threshold of whether they're going to get in or not. They needed a win bad, and they couldn't get it against the Gamecocks on Saturday. So, this team is just, they really are a special group, and I do think they've still got a lot of basketball left in them.
Going back to something you just brought up, if you look at the end of season run that has transpired here, you're right. South Carolina went on the road to Mississippi, not Mississippi State for a second, but Mississippi. Mississippi needed a win badly for their NCAA resume. South Carolina wins there. South Carolina goes on the road to Texas A&M. A&M badly needed a victory. Matter of fact, so badly that Buzz Williams, if you remember, didn't even wear a suit. Tried to change things up a little bit and go with his own quarter zip pullover. And then you just mentioned it. Florida was playing for seeding coming down the stretch, obviously, and South Carolina knocks them off. And then this past weekend, as you just mentioned, yes, Mississippi State badly needed that game. Just looking at Joe Lunardi's most recent updated bracketology, this coming out last night at 11:15, or excuse me, this was out on last night at 11:15. Mississippi State is listed as one of the last 4 buys in. First 4 out is Texas A&M, and Florida, by the way, had an ugly loss over the weekend to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that wasn't ideal. I mean, they're okay. They're in, obviously, but it really didn't affect them too much. But I thought Vanderbilt, all these teams in the SEC, I figured would get somebody. Missouri's the only one that let us all down. They couldn't figure out how to do that. But so yeah, it's like again, like you go 13-5. We were just talking. This is how quick it changed in this league. This is how good this league was. I mean, to put all this in perspective, Wednesday we're talking about the fact that South Carolina is 2 wins away from claiming the Southeastern Conference regular season championship, or at least a share of it. Saturday they're in 5th place. They only played 1 game. Their record didn't change, and they got beat on Wednesday, but they won on Saturday, and they went from 2nd place to 5th place. It's crazy how deep and talented this league was, and puts it even more in perspective that in a year like that, they found a way to get the most regular season wins in the history of the program, 25. He's going to be SEC Coach of the Year. The question is whether he's National Coach of the Year, and he probably will win that award somewhere because there's multiple of those that are given out. But Lamont Paris has certainly probably done the best coaching job in the entire nation.
Alan weighs in and asks, we beat Kentucky. How do we not get the top 4 seed? My understanding, and Jamie, maybe I know you've paid attention to this a little bit. My understanding on this is that it came down to records versus the other 4 teams. The records, and South Carolina went 1-2 in those games, losing to Alabama, losing to Auburn. Kentucky, I believe, was 2-1, and that's how Kentucky moved ahead. And then Auburn and Alabama had the tiebreaker. I believe is how it all came down. It's kind of an odd scenario. South Carolina will open the SEC tournament on Thursday. I'm okay with that. What I didn't like, I'd love to see him make a run, Jamie. I don't like the Friday matchup against Auburn. South Carolina in Lenardi's most recent bracketology again last night, he's got him as a 5 seed. I don't know if South Carolina can really do anything outside of running all the way to the championship game that changes their seeding with maybe the NCAA selection committee.
No, probably. You're right. I mean, if they beat Auburn, so if they win game 1 against either Vanderbilt or Arkansas, which by the way, both are actually playing better basketball right now.
Yes, Arkansas gagged that game away on Alabama, which also would have put South Carolina in the 4 seed. By the way, if Arkansas doesn't completely lose their mind at the end of that game, South Carolina also gets the 4 seed.
They get the 4 seed. That's right. And Arkansas did what they're good at doing this year, which is losing, so they lost. So you're right, Bill. I mean, if you do now, I think he's got Auburn on the 4 line, right?
Yes.
Doesn't he have Auburn on the 4 line?
Yeah.
He's got Auburn and Alabama, both of them are on. So I could envision a scenario where if you win game 1 and then you take down the Tigers in game 2, that he flips those seeds because South Carolina is I think his 3rd, 5th seed, and then Clemson is right behind them. So if they beat Auburn, depending on what happens, or maybe even not depending on what else happens around the country, I could see him flipping the Gamecocks to the 4 line and the Tigers to the 5 line. There would be some importance in that, and you probably know this better than I do. My understanding is the top 4 seeds in the tournament have some leverage as far as where they're sent to play. Isn't that true, or is that not true?
When you say leverage, they can request. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, like Coach Tanner can pick up the phone and say, "We want to play in Charlotte." They'll say, "Well, we're going to do everything we can to get you to Charlotte."
I've never heard that, but that very well may be true. Just looking, it's got right now. I'm going off of Lenardi's. He's got Connecticut and Brooklyn playing the opening round games. Purdue and Indianapolis. Tennessee would be in Charlotte, and Houston would be in Memphis. I've never heard of that in terms of being able to request, but you may not be wrong on that. We'll talk a little bit more about this. I'll give you a team that I gave this to Preston on Thursday, 1 through 4, just how people have them. Teams that I wouldn't mind South Carolina facing if they can to make a run, because that's what you start to look at. And Lenardi's got South Carolina facing in the second round a team that I would love to see the Gamecocks play. I'll tell you who that is. We'll get into that, get into some baseball as well. Jamie Bradford joining us as he does each and every Monday. You're listening to The Early Game.
The Game Network. The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Download the 107.5 The Game app and listen anywhere. The beach, the gym, and yes, even there. Go to iTunes or Google Play and snag the 107.5 The Game app.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. All right, we're hitting that part of the year where, what did you see on Thursday? It's going to be 80. and then it's like 40 in the morning. So you're turning on the heat, you're turning on the air conditioner, you're going back to the heat. Your heating and air unit is getting a complete workout. But right now, you know what? AAA Heating and Air is offering an incredible deal for 2024. That's right. You can get 12 months, no payments or interest in 2024. For more information, call AAA Heating and Air and learn today. 803-677-1500. Again, that's 803-677-1500. And if you need a system upgrade, get a free replacement estimate today. That's right, a free replacement estimate. So call AAA Heating and Air and learn more about these great options available to you. 803-677-1500. Again, 12 months, no payments or no interest. You won't pay a penny until 2025. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
All lottery purchases come with more chances to win cash, merchandise, and other great prizes with the launch of Players Club Rewards. Scan your winning or non-winning tickets in the SC Lottery app and start winning more. See SCEducationLottery.com for more information.
Thank y'all for helping me. So it's Killian. Killian is what you're telling me. Yeah, we weren't going to spend a whole lot of time on the Oscars, but I didn't watch. We watched that movie last night, Air. Killian. Okay. I think I need to watch Oppenheimer. We're kind of beginning of the week. Do a little. I wanted to watch that Air movie. That was actually not bad at all last night. Get away from basketball because yesterday afternoon was a blast. Watched the race yesterday. Jen, I think I finished third, I believe. Josh led the way.
That'd be correct at the last minute. Yep.
Yep.
Preston had won it as far as not a winner, but Chastain. But then at the last minute, Chastain and Blaney kind of switched spots. So yeah, there's a 3-way tie between you, me, and Josh. Preston leads, and Reggie's in second.
Yeah. It's early in the year. I'll admit, with everything going on yesterday, I didn't watch as much of the race as I typically do. I had the TV on the basketball game, and then I was watching golf, and then had the Alexa on the baseball game, listening to that.
I kind of was doing the same thing, but I will agree. John made a point. It was a boring race. I didn't get to see the whole race again because I was watching other games and such, but it was they changed the package so that it would be a little racier and there could be more passing and stuff, and I still think it was kind of boring.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was a great day. I mean, where we were sitting outside, we were blocked by the wind. The wind was not an issue. Ended up getting into a different kind of bourbon called Traveler, made out of the Buffalo Trace Distillery. That was pretty good. It was a good little, not an expensive bottle either. It's about $35, maybe $40. It was actually really good. And Lauren made a nice charcuterie board. So some meats and crackers and cheeses. Lauren had some kind of wine-infused cheese, I believe.
That sounds good. Like a port of sorts.
Yeah, a little bit. I heard that Dune movie is long. Now, I'm talking about watching Oppenheimer, but I heard Dune. I'm not into those kind of movies, but I had a buddy. He's into it, but he said it was long. I don't. Sounds like a lot. Okay, yeah. Somebody gave me a bottle. My buddy Saki gave me a bottle. Gave me a bottle, Craig, of that Traveler. It was pretty good. I was drinking it just the ice cube in there. Wasn't even putting water in there. Feeling pretty good by about 7 o'clock. No pain. So it was a good weekend for food, though. We did a good job. We went to a place in Lexington called We've been a couple times called Mediterranean Cafe on Saturday night. So we did well with the food this weekend. Nice weekend. Yeah, RL. I tried watching that original Dune, the first one. Struggling to get into it. All right.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Eight zero 6100 if you want to weigh in this morning. Several of y'all thanking us for not going down the Academy Awards, the Oscars path. I was just joking. We did not watch. None of us apparently watched that last night, so we can offer no insight into that, but we can offer a lot of insight into college basketball. We'll get some more into that coming up here in just a second, but I want to remind you to go to 1075thegame.com and register for the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. Again, the Palmetto Citizens FCU Grand Slam giveaway. Every game, $25 is added to the pot. And if a Gamecock hitter rips a Grand Slam, you can win all the cash in the pot. So you need to go and register. The way to do that, go to 1075thegame.com. Get yourself registered there. It continues to roll along. It is the Palmetto Citizens FCU Grand Slam giveaway. Again, go to 1075thegame.com to get registered. And that'll lead us into a few minutes of some baseball talk. Jamie Bradford coming off of that Clemson series loss. By the way, still no word on the rescheduling of game one of that thing. We'll see what happens. Jamie, I know you're very well plugged in. It seems like just in talking with some of the people that I've talked to, I don't think this is my personal opinion. I just don't think that game one of the Clemson series is going to get rescheduled this year.
I'm not optimistic that it will.
Okay, I'm with you. That's a good way of describing it. That's a very good way.
Yeah. That's. I don't want to speak for anybody, but I'm not optimistic that it'll get done. And for anybody that's going, well, this is the Clemson game. You got to play it. Yeah, you're right, and they know that. But it's just not that easy because of both of these teams have schedules that conflict with the times in which they can play the game. What you don't want to do if you're South Carolina or if you're Clemson is schedule that game and then have it affect everything else that's going on around you. For instance, Clemson travels all the way to Columbia on a Tuesday night to play, and then that Wednesday they got a game, then they have to hit the road that weekend for Duke or whatever. Like, same thing with the Gamecocks. So, like, the dates that they have and the dates that Clemson has don't necessarily match up. So I'm just not optimistic it's going to work.
Thank you for that's a great way to describe it. Instead of me saying it the way I did, I'm with you. Not optimistic that thing will get played. South Carolina need to move on. 11 runs yesterday in the sixth inning. Overall, not a bad weekend as it pertains to how the bats worked. Obviously, anytime you can go through a weekend, Jamie, and put up 42 runs, you feel better. But again, it's Longwood. So what does Jamie Bradford, the baseball guru, take away from that?
Well, not a ton. I mean, they were walked 18 times yesterday, and I think hit by 3 pitches. So it's 21 free bases. That's a great number. And then I guess you felt a little bit better about Cole coming out of the weekend. He's hit 7 balls out of the yard this year, and that's always great to see. He's going to have to still get more consistent there, but overall, the pitching staff is really what has stood out. I mean, those guys have been. I think they have the 3rd best ERA in the country. I mean, they've been really good, and with the offense kind of where it is right now, going to SEC play later on this week. And by the way, this Georgia State game in North Augusta this week ain't going to be easy. But getting into SEC play, you're going to need to lean on your arms to probably try to get you through the first couple of weeks. What I'm hoping here look, there's a bunch of hitters on this team that we have watched hit. We know they can. Dylan Brewer, Talmadge LeCroy, Ethan Petrie, Cole Messina, Gavin Casas. Those guys have all hit at this level with this uniform on. Will Tippett is kind of coming around. Parker Nolan's a 275 hitter at Vanderbilt, better than he's swung in here. Kennedy Jones is an All-American at Greensboro. I mean, these guys have hit, okay? So they've got a bunch of guys that they know can swing it. It's just a matter of when it all kind of starts to click. What I'm hoping is that the more strikes that they see when they get into SEC play, as opposed to getting up there and having deep counts every single time. They've been walked 147 times this year in 16 games. That's like 9 a game. That's crazy. So I'm hoping that the more strikes that the opposition throws and fills up the strike zone, the more balls they get barreled up because they really need to get it going there.
This weekend, you mentioned Tuesday night down in North Augusta. It'll be Georgia State, but then South Carolina will head out to take on Mississippi, 7:30 on Friday night, a 2:00 game on the SEC Network on Saturday, and then the final match of the series, 2:30 on Sunday. That'll be on the SEC Network as well. How do you like? You just mentioned the rotation. Obviously, we saw a little bit. We'll call it the curveball. No Roman Kimball this past Sunday. You like that option, or do you put him back into the lineup if Jamie Bradford were the manager?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not big on second guessing guys, because you don't have all the information that they have for the reasons they make their decisions. I mean, I didn't really understand the move, and I still don't understand it. That doesn't mean that it wasn't the right move. I just didn't. I don't know why they did that. I'd probably rather see him back in there. He's used to being a starter, and then go from there. But again, I don't have all the information. That's not just me being a nice guy, like not wanting to, offend somebody or something. I really don't know the answer. But if it was me, and with the information I have, then he would have still been starting on Sunday.
803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in on anything about that. Let me remind you about my good friends, the Ecton Law Firm. I tell you what, we're rolling through March. Tax season is in front of us, and if you've been experiencing some tax issues, you're having some stress, don't let that bother you. It's time for you to contact the Ecton Law Firm and get a free consultation. 803-771-9800. Again, that's 803-771-9800. The Ecton Law Firm, they have a local team dedicated to resolving your income or business tax issues for good. And they understand the challenges you face. That's why they are the absolute best in the business. Let John Ecton and his team help you get the peace of mind you deserve with proven local solutions. They've helped thousands of families and businesses just like yours escape the IRS maze. So call today for that free consultation, 803-771-9800, or you can visit them on the web, EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Again, call the Ecton Law Firm today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you, 803-771-9800. Jamie, we come back. We'll get into a little bit of big picture basketball now as we head into conference play. And a perfect example of where I was going, Kansas. Boy, they get smoked at Houston. Well, if you go by Joe Lunardi's bracketology, it has Kansas as the potential second-round matchup for South Carolina. I love that. Would love to see that game. I think South Carolina would take them down. I'll get your thoughts as we head into conference tournament and NCAA tournament time on who you like nationally as we get ready for March Madness. I think I'm allowed to say that properly in that context, right, Jamie?
I think you're
in that context, you are.
We're okay. Yeah, okay, good. They're not going to come
Yep.
after us. I tell you what, after a great baseball segment, a lot of good information. Next weekend, next Friday night, South Carolina takes on Vanderbilt at home, 7 o'clock. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take callers 3 and 4 right now. Callers 3 and 4, 803-404-6100. Callers 3 and 4, you can win yourself a pair of tickets to next Friday night's South Carolina Vanderbilt game. It'll be game 1 at Founders Park. First pitch set for 7 o'clock. We'll take callers 3 and 4 right now, 803-404-6100. You can win yourself a pair of tickets to next Friday night, South Carolina Vanderbilt baseball game. Jamie and I will come back. We'll look big picture basketball. Where does South Carolina stand heading into the conference tournament, but the NCAA tournament as well? It's the early game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV.
Listen to Gamecocks baseball on the game. And if a Gamecocks batter hits a grand slam,
you could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash in the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. Go to 1075thegame.com and register. Brought to you by Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union and the Game.
Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. For nearly 30 years, Mid-State Roofing has been the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. And you know what? With spring ahead of us, we got more rain on the way. Is your roof ready to handle it? Have you had any leak detection of late? If not, call Mid-State Roofing. They'll answer your phone call right now, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mid-State Roofing has an on-call technician ready to help you with any leak issues you have with your roof. Make that phone call today and get a maintenance contract, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. Let Larry Leitner and his family help get you the peace of mind with that roof. Get some leak detection, and then that's followed up by leak prevention. Again, call Mid-State Roofing today, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They've got an on-call technician ready to help you with your problems, 803-356-1919, or visit them on the web, midstateroofing.com.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. With college quarterbacks dominating next month's draft buzz, the class of 2021 offers a cautionary tale, folks. The imminent trade of Mac Jones from New England to Jacksonville for just a 6th-round pick means that only Trevor Lawrence hasn't been a bust. San Francisco gave up on Trey Lance, while Justin Fields and Zach Wilson are traded men walking. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
As a professional musician, Lachi stays true to her creative vision, even with continuing vision loss from a growing hole in her eyesight. In time, Lachi could face the possibility of total blindness, but she's hopeful because she knows she's not alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding diseases, providing real hope to those fighting vision loss. And our nationwide community of local chapters provides networking and support for people with vision loss, as well as their loved ones, because the best way to fight against blinding diseases is to fight together. And for Lachi, winning means using her voice to bring hope to others with vision loss. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Learn more about how you can help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Early game
with Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
As we wrap it up here with Jamie Bradford, a whole nother hour to go. Elijah Campbell will join us coming up in the next segment as he will wrap it up from Greenville, and then we just ship him straight on up to Nashville for the men's tournament this weekend. And Jamie, South Carolina this weekend, interesting. We don't do this. We do this in baseball, right? Okay, we're going to the SEC tournament. How important? How important is the SEC tournament in baseball? Well, maybe you want to rest your pitchers. Maybe you want to rest your team. We never do this in basketball. South Carolina is securely in the NCAA tournament. They will get, you mentioned it, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, both playing better basketball. Arkansas should have won that game this weekend. Vanderbilt did knock off Florida. They will get each other coming up. 7 o'clock on Wednesday night will be the start time for Arkansas and Vanderbilt. South Carolina get the winner. What is the objective for South Carolina this coming weekend?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think that it's just to continue. I mean, this is going to sound really, really bland and kind of evasive and uneducated, but keep being who you are. Like, you just want to use this as an opportunity to fine tune what you do well. You know, they had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so 4 days off. You know, you kind of kick the jelly legs a little bit, and you get a couple extra days to work the kinks out, and then you just want to fine tune who you are up there, and hopefully that coincides with a couple of wins, because who you are is pretty good. You know what I mean? It's not like you're going up there like trying to recreate anything. You're not. I mean, but it also at the same time, like let's be honest, Bill, like they're trying to win the SEC tournament. Have they ever won the SEC tournament? Right?
Are you asking me, or they got to the championship game one time and it went poorly.
And it didn't go well. Exactly. That's my point. Like, wouldn't it be nice to claim one of these things? I mean, do they not celebrate the SEC tournament winner? Does it make you a worse basketball team by winning this thing? No, like, go win it. I mean, you know, Coach Parrish has been open about the fact that they've got a bunch of accolades that are still out there. They've got some milestones still to hit. And I don't doubt that they want to go try to win this thing. So, you know, go win it. And at the very least, you know, you'll go and just continue to kind of fine tune and sharpen your tools for the NCAA tournament.
I do think it is imperative to me. And again, I know what you're saying. That's exactly what the attitude they're going to have in the locker room. And that should be the attitude. You don't go up there and say, all right, guys, let's play 40 minutes of basketball. Let's get home. We got a bigger tournament next week. That's not the attitude. That would not be the attitude Lamont Paris has portrayed all season, nor do I expect it to be what that team wants to do. With that being said, I actually do think it is very important that South Carolina win that Thursday game, just from a momentum standpoint, win that Thursday game to just kind of keep things going. You don't want to have that kind of bad taste of getting into a tournament, losing the first one and going home and sitting around. So I'm with you. Get to Friday. You'd get Auburn in that matchup. How that goes down, we'll see. Play the game and figure it out, but I am with you there. Big picture, quickly, as you are now following basketball a lot closer as we get to the NCAA tournament. North Carolina, no problem with Duke this weekend. I'm not a big fan of what Duke is right now. I don't think John Shire has that program running very smoothly. Kansas is another one. I'd love to see either one of those in a potential second round matchup for South Carolina.
Oh yeah, it'd be sweet. I mean, I'd love to see any of the Blue Bloods, to be honest. You know, love to see Duke again. Would absolutely love to play North Carolina. I know they're really good, but I'd love to see them, because I just think that's tremendous. Those two playing each other. You mentioned Kansas; it would be unique. There's no doubt, and there's a chance that, you know, there's a chance with where they're seated that they might see one of those teams in the second round, because Duke, Kansas, you know, North Carolina, they're all hovering between that 2 and 4 seed. So there's a chance that it could fall the Gamecocks' way.
Yeah, again, according to Joe Lenardi, his most recent bracketology has South Carolina and Kansas. I'm with you. Get Kansas in the second round. Not that Kansas is a bad team, but they've got some flaws that match up well with what South Carolina does. And Duke right now, of course, in Lenardi's most recent bracketology is a 3 seed. You look across the board, you got as we sit here going into conference tournaments and then NCAA tournament time, you got a favorite for the national championship? You want to take a stab and just put one out there?
Ooh, I mean, this is as wide open. It's not Purdue. They find a way to blow it every year. I mean, I guess if I had to pick one, you know, I don't know about UConn. I love them. I'll go with Houston.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I actually might, even with a loss, I didn't ask you about Kentucky and them coming along here late in the season. They get that win over Tennessee. I don't know how much it meant, but Jamie, it's a fun time of year. We got golf, we've got basketball, we've got baseball, all stuff going on. So look forward to you joining us each and every Monday.
Yeah, man. Always appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great week.
You too. Hour 3 on the way. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. You heard me talking just a little while ago about the great deal they have going on in 2024. That's right. That's right. You can get no interest and no payments through 2024. You won't pay a penny until 2025. But how about this? I bet you didn't know this about AAA Heating and Air. You know what? They've got something else going on right now. AAA Heating and Air now provides professional and residential electrical services, including electrical panel upgrades, lighting installation and repair, and new generator installations. For more information, you can call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. That phone number again, 803-677-1500, or you can visit them on the web. Call AAAtoday.com. Again, visit them on the web. Call AAAtoday.com, or actually give them a phone call, 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
1075 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet.
Oh, man. Okay, this might be my favorite moment of 2023, taking place on November 9th, a Thursday morning at the 1075 The Game Studios. A victory lap for us. Thank you to Jen Jensen for her outstanding work with the cell phone camera as we invaded the early game studios with the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge Trophy, much to the dismay of one of the hosts who shall remain nameless, but that's his most photogenic angle. If you listen to the early game in the mornings, you know that he who shall remain nameless, Jen Jensen, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and the now retired Darlington Raceway president Kerry Tharp compete in this NASCAR contest where we pick one driver for each race. You get bonus points if you pick the winner. The better the finish, the more points you get. It started in February with Stenhouse, my pick, and it ran all the way through early November, and for the second year in a row, yours truly came away with the trophy. Joshua contributed with a Michael McDowell pick at Indy, which was a home run pick for sure. He laughed at me, by the way, when I took Stenhouse at Daytona for what it's worth. But this is a serious contest, and if I had to choose between winning a fantasy football title with my buddies and this contest, not even a question. So we'll go for 3 in a row in 2024, and I already have Stenhouse set for Daytona, so perhaps he can win his second consecutive Super Bowl of stock car racing. So looking forward to an exciting 2024. And there's Kerry Tharp, again, retiring as Darlington Raceway president in his last race back on Labor Day weekend, the Cookout Southern 500, and there he is getting a selfie with the race winner Kyle Larson, who was also one of my picks during the year. So it's a fun year in 2023 competing for the trophy, and again, we'll go for 3 in a row next year.
We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
A couple incidences have popped up this morning. Cawkesbury Road at Highway 1, also I-20 westbound at Alpine Road, and Longs Pond Road at Two Notch Road, an accident there as well. So do be careful out there this morning. Your weather, it's definitely going to cooperate. 65 for the high, 73 tomorrow, 77 on Wednesday. We hit 80 on Thursday. That's very welcome. But right now, it's 42 on the early game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
Hey, this is Carolina men's head golf coach Bill McDonald. You're listening to WNKT FM 107.5, the home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
The early game.
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
There's a handful of people out there, or a footful of people who have decent looking feet. And what did Bill say?
Yeah, in college. Thought I had some good-looking feet about then. That was, about 20 years ago.
What happened? How'd you get all mangled?
It's not there like that bad. I mean, back then, that was the height of my foot beauty.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
The theme of this show. I don't know what happened.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Raven will trigger it in at midcourt. Got a catch and shoot here. 1.1 seconds to play. Gamecocks trail 73-71. To Camilla. Three-pointer for the win. Bang! Gamecocks win! Camilla Cardoso, a three-pointer at the buzzer. And the Gamecocks storm the floor. Camilla Cardoso wins it. Her first three-pointer of the year. Unbelievable. And the Gamecocks are in the SEC Tournament Championship. Holy cow.
Saturday afternoon, the collective cheer from the state of South Carolina was that of Carmelo Cardoso making her first career three-pointer, banking it in, and sitting there watching it was Elijah Campbell. Oh, do we have wait a minute, do we have your official introduction?
I don't think he actually has an official introduction at this point.
Oh, we don't have it? Oh, okay. All right. You're back to just being Elijah Campbell. No official introduction.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Elijah came with less fanfare.
Yeah. If you'd have made the three, we would have done that. We'll talk about where we're sending you here in just a minute on our 107.5 The Game chopper. But man, I tell you what, let's go back to that for a second, Elijah, because obviously a lot to talk about yesterday. But that, number one, the fact that they blew that lead, boy, does that get glossed over a little bit, doesn't it?
Oh my God! If you don't have your center who attempts only the second three-pointer of her career and her first in 3 years, and doesn't bank it in, yeah, that's all we're talking about today. Is letting a 23-point lead absolutely slip through your fingers. And when you think of it this way, it's astonishing, Bill. Like this team that has been untouchable all year, in one stretch of a game that lasted about 2.5 quarters. They got outscored by 25 points to a team they beat twice. But we don't think about that right now because Camilla banked in the shot and then everything that happened yesterday, which I know we'll get into later. But it is pretty impressive, all the sins that got forgiven in this fan base after one bank three that basically did like the Men in Black memory eraser thing right before it, because blowing a 23-point lead is pretty significant, and Rakia Jackson almost made the ultimate name for herself by engineering a comeback for the ages. But all it took was 3 seconds of really bad basketball and basketball decisions to erase that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're right. Because of the banked in three, because of yesterday, we just completely forget about it. Really, just to sum up that very quickly, as you're watching that lead evaporate, what thoughts do you take away from that towards the NCAA tournament? Now, is that something that you watched happen and you go, "Ooh, that's cause for concern," or because South Carolina won the game and then because yesterday South Carolina really did handle LSU, you go, "Okay, that's an anomaly. That's just, it was an odd set of circumstances. Something went completely wrong. Jackson had the big comeback game." Is there something there that you just say, "Nope, I brushed that off"?
I was really conflicted about that one, Bill. I was thinking about it as it was happening. Part of me was like, well, is this, a familiarity thing? Because, I mean, it was the third time those teams played in 23 days. So the scouting opportunity that you get to play somebody 3 times in less than 4 weeks is a whole lot different than, playing them in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, or, when you have 24 hours to scout them and have to prepare for them that way when you've not been on the floor with that team. So the intimidation factor is essentially gone from Tennessee at that point. And once they got on a roll, they were able to really mount momentum really well. But part of me would have been a little concerned too, because Tennessee figured something out the second half of the game, I felt like, here in Columbia. And they applied that in the second half. Once they calmed down, once they quit turning the ball over, once they seemed less overwhelmed by South Carolina's defense, Rakia Jackson was able to get to her spot. And if you end up playing a team with a tough shot maker, especially one who can hit shots in the face of your forwards, then they will have some very interesting games. Maybe not as interesting as we saw this weekend, but for the first time this year, I thought South Carolina looked really vulnerable for multiple stretches of the game. And I think we had some deja vu with it yesterday when a 13-point lead kind of evaporated pretty quickly in the second half as well. So it's something to monitor, that there is a vulnerability with this team. And I don't know if it's that, they're seeing ghosts at certain points in the second half. And Raven Johnson after the game against Tennessee, she did, in her press conference, allude to, sometimes we get Iowa flashbacks. And, I think there might have been some Iowa Final Four PTSD in the waning moments of that Tennessee game, when you see a lead slip away and Tennessee takes their first lead for the first time all game with less than a minute left. I do think there is an element of scarring that has occurred, that if a game starts to get away from them or a lead starts to get away from them, certain mistakes can compound.
Well, let's fast forward to yesterday now. So they hold on. They do not blow the 23-point lead. They win the game. They do what they have to. Cardoso banks it in. Miraculous. Tennessee has to live with, well, all we maybe should have done was guard her, or at least have a hand in her face. Doesn't matter. Ball game's over. And then you go to yesterday. Real quick, in terms of the actual game, and it's going to get glossed over. South Carolina wins all four periods. They do not get outscored. They outscore LSU 18-15, 18-17, 23-21, 2019. And LSU, for as much as I dislike them, as much as I dislike Kim Mulkey, all the things I said about them in hour number one, they are a good basketball team. And yet South Carolina yesterday gets the job done. 16-19 from the foul line, 7-20 from 3-point range. They were in control of that game. Let's ignore what happened at the very end.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was, you mentioned the scores for all quarters and they were all really close. Bad teams don't win national championships. And that's a team last year that won the national championship and got better with their roster going into this year. They adding, Haley Van Lith, Michaela Williams, and Anissa Morrow doesn't make you a worse basketball team by any stretch of the imagination. And they had some road bumps here and there. I know it was easy to mock them losing to Colorado on the opener, and then going into Auburn and getting beat by a team that had no business beating them earlier in the season. But all in all, this is a team that, will more than likely be underseeded going into the NCAA tournament because of some of those losses in the SEC, where, quite frankly, I don't know exactly how invested they were in those games, just because that team should never lose to Mississippi State. I don't care where the game's being played. That team should never lose to Auburn. I don't care where it's being played. So for South Carolina to win all four quarters and to win a lot of the individual matchups is insanely impressive. And for a freshman in Malaysia Fulwiley to come off the bench and score 24 points when your team needs them most, to be able to get you a bucket seemingly at will. She got to the rim almost at will in that game against that defense with those shot blockers and rim protectors, especially with Angel Reese, is absurdly impressive. And the win itself says a lot, because LSU was playing really good basketball going into that game. I never figured LSU was in trouble against Ole Miss. They were obviously never in trouble against Auburn, because they scored the first 23 points of the game. But that's a really, really good basketball team that gave you everything you could handle in Baton Rouge. They gave you everything you could handle in Greenville, and it still didn't matter. And the fact that in the post-game presser, all LSU could talk about was not trying to convince people they're not scared of you, is a sign that you have the ultimate respect of everybody else in the sport. That was an awesome win on the basketball floor, antics aside.
I want to go back to Malaysia Fulwiley, and I don't remember. You were there, so maybe you can pinpoint. There's a play at the end of the quarter, Tennessee or LSU, I can't remember. Fulwiley, I think in 4 seconds, goes coast to coast, and I believe the layup rolled out. It rattled around the rim, rolled out. I will say this, and I'd love my buddy Aaron Lucas and any other college basketball players that are out there listening. I am not sure Malaysia Fulwiley is not the fastest player, man or woman, from coast to coast in America. Her speed from baseline to baseline with the basketball, it is definitely, in my opinion, she is definitely the fastest person in women's basketball. And I honestly would challenge anybody on the men's side of college sports coast to coast. She is that fast with the ball. I don't know what it's like watching it in person. I just haven't been to a game this year. And to watch her open it up and hit that top gear and go coast to coast is absolutely unreal.
My favorite thing about watching her play is you can almost see it in real time, the gears turning in her head when she knows she's getting to the rim. And all she has to do is hit that next gear, and she's going to get to the cup. It is remarkable. Once she picks up her ahead of steam, no one's stopping her. You can't pick her up at half court because you're just going to be out of position. Like, she's the ultimate transition offense weapon. She is a one-woman fast break, because when she catches the ball, like when you score and you're having a defender on the other end, you have to account for where she's at all times, because she will just run right past you. And then if you pick her up at the 3-point line, you got to make her change direction. And that's significantly easier said than done. And at one point yesterday in the first half of the game, LSU did a good job of picking her up in the half court, making her change direction, but then she just goes behind the back and splits a double team, and then gets into a 2-on-1 situation. She drops off a pass, I believe it was either to Camilla or Sanaya, and a layup was made. And at that point, you kind of think, you played that defensive possession about as well as you could. You slowed her down to where you had to get them in a half-court offense, and it still didn't matter. Sometimes this year, her speed has kind of gotten the best of her. Like, even the A&M game on, when was that, Friday, she got loose on a fast break and threw the ball off the backboard. But she was just sped up. I mean, she plays so fast that sometimes it's been a challenge to harness it offensively, and that's where maybe some of the turnovers earlier in the season happened. But as the years gone on, as the weeks and the games have gone on, she's reined it in to the point where her risk aversion's a whole lot better, but she can still dazzle you with the plays that she makes. And going from one end of the floor to the other is an absolute blur, but also a lot more controlled than it was. And that's bad news for the rest of women's college basketball, and good news for enjoyers of the sport, because it is absolute showtime.
John Wall might have been the fastest I ever would watch be able to go baseline to baseline, and full well he's not John Wall, and then John Wall got fat and he struggles just to get the half court. But her speed with the ball, and I've done a lot of scouting in my life, it is second to none in terms of ball handling. Now, obviously, if you get somebody in front of her, it slows her down, but it is wildly impressive. And I think she did that. Again, whatever play I'm thinking of, I think it was in 4.3, which is a very good time. And I'm willing to bet she can maybe do it in under 4. It's absolutely phenomenal. All right. As we wrap up with you real quick, where do we stand with these suspensions? Because it was hilarious I tell you what, let's do this, Elijah. You got another few minutes with us to discuss, because I also want to get into you heading up to Nashville for the men's tournament. You got another segment in you here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course you do. You have nothing better to do.
That's right.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not a case that he doesn't have anything better to do, but he's motivated to delivering the best possible performance. So he's willing to give it his all.
There you go. And we're sending it. Yeah, he's
that's right.
He gets the 107.5 the game mobile up to Nashville. So we'll talk a little men's basketball with Elijah Campbell as we roll along. You're listening to the early game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Oh, St. Patrick's weekend is upon us. And you know what? If you're like me, you're ready to get out and have a good time. Unless your house is dirty. And then you're probably going to spend next weekend cleaning. That's right. You probably have to clean the baseboards, clean the floors, mop the floors, do all those fun things. No, it's not fun. You don't want to do that. It's easy. I got an easy hack for you. Call the cleaning pros at Zerorez, Carpet and Air Duct Cleanings. Zerorez, with their patented ZR water technology that cleans better than detergents while leaving zero residue behind. They will make your house look spotless. Give them a phone call today and take advantage of their spring sale. Phone number, 803-262-4020. And when you call, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $129 Plus, you can get a free hallway. Again, that's 803-262-4020, or you can book online, ZeroSColumbia.com. 3 rooms of carpet clean for $129, plus a free hallway when you mention me, Bill Gunner. Zero, spell it backwards and forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Spring has sprung at Carowinds, offering endless fun for families. With almost 60 rides catering to thrill seekers of all ages, including the new
Pete Wine Pool and Spa has a full line of hot tubs from Sundance and Strong Spas, sure to fit your needs and budget. So come by today to explore the health benefits of hot water hydrotherapy for overall well-being. Delivery and startup is always free and the cover is included. The name is Ale Wine, 2 beverages, ale and wine. Pete Wine Pool and Spa. We're on Sunset Boulevard in Lexington. You'll find us on Facebook and online at PeteLWinePools.com.
The demand for your used car is at an all-time high, and it's never been worth more. Herndon Chevrolet needs your trade. We'll buy your car, even if you don't buy ours. And to prove it, we're willing to beat any written offer by $500. That's right, we'll beat any written offer by $500. Visit Herndon Chevrolet today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Smile. 803-630-5929 for more details.
There's no better place to be in the spring than at Founders Park, cheering on the Gamecock baseball team. Get your single game tickets today. Tickets start as low as $12. Visit GamecocksOnline.com to get yours today.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
Roxbury Road at Highway 1, we have a report of an accident there. Also, I-20 westbound at Alpine Road. Leapart near Highway 378, there's an accident, as well as Longs Pond Road at Two Notch Road. And in Lexington, Old Cherokee at Old Chapin. So be careful out there this morning. We are expecting sunny skies today. We welcome that. And looking for a high today of about 65, that overnight low of 38. So another chilly morning tomorrow. 73 for the high on Tuesday. And then as we get in through the week, we're looking at upper 70s, maybe even 80, maybe some rain coming up this weekend. But right now, it's trying to warm up a little bit. It's kind of cold, 36 on the early game.
The early game with Bill Gunter.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
And Jen Jensen, your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful this week. It's golfing weather, and you know what? It's going to only get better. Coming up on Friday, April the 5th, we are out at Charwood Golf Club. That's right. It's the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Tournament, and it's time for you to get signed up today. There's a 10 a.m. shotgun start. $400 per team, so $400 for a foursome. Call and get registered today. These spots go fast. We normally fill up with 26, 28 teams, so you're going to want to head and get your team in today. Call Charwood, 803-755-2000. Again, it's 803-755-2000. You want to go ahead and get registered today. It is the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Tournament, April 5th at Charwood Golf Club. We'll have a mimosa bar sponsored by Saki's Wine and Spirits. We'll have breakfast. We'll tell you more about that in the coming weeks. We'll have lunch. We'll have some maybe not 107.5 The Game celebrities, but we might have a few athlete celebrities swing on by that morning that you might want to hang out with, take a picture with. We'll have some great raffles, some great giveaways, all kinds of neat things. It is the Spring 107.5 The Game Golf Tournament out at Charwood Golf Club. You need to come join us at, again, 10 a.m. shotgun start, $400 per foursome. Call and get registered today. Go ahead and get your team in. 803-755-2000. Again, that's 803-755-2000. Call it to Charwood and get registered today. Elijah Campbell joining us as he was in Greenville all weekend, and he'll be making the trip up to Nashville here in the coming hours to get set for Wednesday night's first game between Arkansas and Vanderbilt. Of course, the game 2 on Wednesday night will be Georgia and Missouri. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but let's put a bow here on South Carolina winning another SEC tournament championship. But Elijah, the question will be, because this was actually pretty funny yesterday, at least I found it funny. All the women get suspended or get kicked off of the court. They're all ejected. Everybody's just Poor Tahina Powell's just at the scores table trying to check in. She gets caught up in it. They have to go back. They bring her back on television. Elijah, on television, as it happens, the announcers go, oh, the first round, South Carolina is going to play with 6 players and LSU is going to play with 5 players. And then by, I think, 20 minutes after the game, it was only Camila Cardoso is actually suspended for the first half of the first NCAA tournament game. What do you know and what can you tell us about the actual suspension policy on all those, LSU included, that were ejected yesterday?
Yep. It's my understanding that all the players that left the bench that were rejected for leaving the bench, which was the entire LSU bench and all of the South Carolina bench minus Sanaya Fagan, they are not suspended. They were only ejected for that game. They're all going to be eligible to play in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And Camila Cardoso is suspended for the first round game. I believe it's for the game. Having a full clarification, but the only player in the entire fracas that is going to receive any further punishment is going to be Cardoso. So everybody that left the bench is eligible to come back.
So she gets to play in the second half of the first game, or she completely cannot? Because I thought I'd understood she cannot play at all in the first round.
Yeah, that was. I think that I want to say that's the case, but I'm not 1,000% sure.
Okay.
But I know she's going to be the only one that's going to be receiving any type of suspension after yesterday.
Yeah, I think hers was considered a disqualification for obviously for fighting, but she is definitely. I think again it was mildly entertaining to listen to as it happened. The announcers instantly thinking, like all these women are suspended for the NCAA tournament game, and I actually was like, oh.
I thought that was harsh, especially they weren't involved in the fight.
I will openly admit when they said that on television yesterday, I went, oh, I might actually watch the LSU opening tournament game because they got to play with 5 players. I don't care who they play. That can get a little dicey. And then I'm thinking, South Carolina's going to play with 6. Tahina Powell, again, poor Tahina Powell's just hit the scores table, minding her own business, gets caught up in it. And they were able to fix that for her. So, okay. So some clarification there. Just being sure if you're listening at all those women yesterday that were ejected, that were on the bench that came off. And by the way, I just watching the view, I don't know what they label as the bench. There's a coach's line, a coach's box. I don't know if that's where they draw the line in terms of coming off, if that makes sense. Getting down the court to where they were at. But all those women will be back in 2 weeks when South Carolina opens NCAA tournament play. Let's transition here for a few minutes. You again will head up to Nashville Wednesday night, Arkansas and Vanderbilt at 7:00 in the opener. After that, Georgia and Missouri. Let's transition here for a second. Kentucky goes in and knocks off Tennessee this weekend. Is Kentucky the hottest team going into this tournament?
You can make the case. They're definitely the hottest shooting team going into this tournament, and they're easily the best shooting team in the country from outside the perimeter. Overall, they're shooting over 41% from three this year, and as we saw on Saturday, they have no qualms with chucking them up. And I would say between Reed Shepherd and Antonio Reeves and Rob Dillingham, they probably have the best three-point shooting trios in all of college basketball. I mean, not many teams go into Thompson-Boling Arena and make 15 of 29 threes. As great as a three-point shooting team as they are, I don't know how often they're going to be able to do that. Defensively, they got enough stops to win that game, which was my biggest question mark about them this year. We know they can score. We know they're about as entertaining as anybody in the conference to watch. But sometimes defense has not only been a chore for them, but it's been complete labor at times, as some of those freshmen have not grasped the concept of off-ball defense. But I would say they're up there. Them and Tennessee do kind of feel like the teams to beat right now because of some of the wins that they've accumulated down the stretch, especially on the road. But with the way Auburn can just throw bodies at you, I can't count them out either. But I would say the only acceptable answers as to who the hottest teams are, I would say, are between Kentucky and Tennessee. Speaking of Auburn, that would potentially be South Carolina's quarterfinal matchup on Friday. It would come in the morning, or I say the morning, the early session. Just looking at South Carolina is scheduled to play the early session right now on Thursday. First game would be LSU and Mississippi State. South Carolina will get the winner again of Arkansas, Vanderbilt after that particular game. I asked Jamie Bradford this. This is from our perspective, Elijah, not from the team's perspective. I get it. The team is going to win, is going with the intention of winning the tournament. What does South Carolina need to do this week in Nashville? Not for seeding, but just to continue to feel good and have momentum. So don't lose to Arkansas and Vanderbilt because those are bad basketball teams. You never want to go into the NCAA tournament with a loss to a bad basketball team and that taste still in your mouth. But if you win and advance and play Auburn, you got to give them a game. I mean, you can't get beat by like 20 in that game and then show that there's a blueprint or there's a type of team that can beat you like that pretty consistently, right? I mean, with Auburn, it's just a bad matchup. I know it was a 40-point game. These two, the last time they played on Valentine's Day, but these two teams aren't 40 points apart, but I do think they're like 10. You know, I just don't like the matchup. I don't like it here. I don't like it there. I don't like it anywhere. But you got to be able to at least play to your standard. And if you avoid just getting absolutely smacked by Auburn, I think you're fine. Really, this team, I think, is built to beat a lot of different kinds of teams. But for some reason, the way that Auburn can throw, 10 bodies at you, all incredibly athletic, all very versatile, can switch a ton on defense. And it's hard to gain advantage on them just because of how unique their style of play is. But really, if you can just not have like a 30-point loss, I know that seems pretty simple, but I think they are good enough right now to be able to make a run in the NCAA tournament, even if they don't get past Friday next week in Nashville.
Elijah, good safe travels this week. Good job in Greenville. Now you move on to Nashville, and we look forward to catching up with you later on the week and keeping updated with you as we move through the men's side.
That's right. The madness continues. Thanks, guys.
Always appreciate it. Elijah Campbell, our on the scene roving reporter now as he gets to make that lovely trip, that drive from Greenville up to Nashville. We'll keep you updated on that. Get into some bracketology as we roll along this morning. I'll update you. CBS Sports, ESPN, and the Field of 68 from Jeff Goodman. We'll give you all that as we roll along. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. It is the early game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Ever been on this date?
You're a good-looking man. Thank you. Very pretty. Real soft, delicate features. They're real feminine.
And thought, man, I'd rather be listening to The Game right now.
Welcome in to the afternoon show alongside Elijah Campbell. I'm Jay Phillips.
Well, just go to iTunes or Google Play and download the Game app. Sure, you may no longer be with that person anymore, but you'll never be without the game again.
Man, we are just rolling right through 2024. And if you haven't been out to Love Chevrolet yet, what are you doing? It's time to go check out all the great deals they have. There's no better time than right now to go visit Love Chevrolet if you're in the market for a brand new car, truck, or SUV. Whether it's a Tahoe, a Suburban, a Camaro, or maybe it's one of those red hot Silverados, Love Chevrolet has got you taken care of. 14 acres of brand new Chevys. I can promise you this, you're going to find your favorite color and trim, and they are there and ready for you to drive home today. And of course, with that $1,000 low price guarantee, Love Chevrolet is making sure you're saving money. They don't sell above MSRP. That's one of the reasons they have taken care of families like yours and mine for over 60 years. Because they have integrity, they're honest, and they make sure you get the absolute best deal possible. Go visit Love Chevrolet today. I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. And together, let's drive.
100 online casino-style games. Chumba Casino is your go-to destination for nonstop entertainment. Play for fun and play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
March into serenity and relaxation with the Spring Madness Member for a Day sale at Hand & Stone. Receive product savings, member price services, and gift card savings. Visit their Columbia area locations or handandstone.com to unlock online deals. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
Hey Gamecocks, Ben Cato, third generation owner of Cato's Power Equipment. We are thrilled to be offering brand new rental options in 2024 with the lineup of push mowers, stand-on and walk-behind aerators, dethatchers, and zero-turn mowers. Most tools start around $100 a day to rent. Push mowers only $50. We have weekly and long-term rates available, so come borrow our tools and expand your ability to get your work done. Find out more at catospowerequipment.com or in person at 4012 West Beltline Boulevard.
The second annual Mega Gun and Knife Show is this weekend at the State Fairgrounds, and it's the largest gun and knife show ever held in Columbia. This is not just a gun show, it's an event. 2 huge buildings and over 650 tables of rifles, shotguns, handguns, knives, ammo, antiques, military displays, and more. You can buy, sell, and trade. Food vendors and educational exhibits are on site, so bring the whole family. The Mega Gun and Knife Show is brought to you by the South Carolina Arms Collectors Association, and it's the real deal. This Saturday and Sunday at the South Carolina State Fairgrounds. SCGunshows.com.
I love being a bartender. I love waiting tables. But at the end of my shift, my feet were killing me. And so I had to pretend like I was having a good time. And really, I couldn't wait to sit down. But it wasn't just my feet. It was also my knees were achy. A lot of neck pain, too. I was in so much pain. I kind of lost hope, really. And then I saw the Good Feet store, and that's when everything changed.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Kristen enjoy their work again without their feet getting in the way.
It was pretty shocking to realize that I'd been in so much pain and suddenly I'm completely pain-free. Now that I have the Good Feet arch supports, I don't have to pretend to be happy. I'm genuinely happy. So cheers. My name is Kristen, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Stop by the Good Feet store in Columbia near Whole Foods for a free fitting. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit goodfeet.com.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Don't let allergies keep you down. Call the pros at Zerez Air Duct Cleaning to remove the dust from your home. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game to get $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Use code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZerezColumbia.com.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
Is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
I-20 East, excuse me. Try that again. I-26 eastbound, just after exit 91. There are 2 lanes that are blocked, getting confirmation on what, but just expect a slowdown if you were heading I-26 eastbound and approaching exit 91. Croxbury Road at Highway 1, working that earlier tie-up, as well as Leapart Road near Sunset Boulevard. Longs Pond Road at 2 Notch, and in Lexington, Old Cherokee Road at Old Chapin, you will find a slowdown. 65 for the high today, another chilly morning on tap. The overnight low will be 38. Then we hit 73 tomorrow, 77 on Wednesday, hit 80 potentially on Thursday before maybe some rain coming in for the weekend, but still in the mid-upper 70s. Right now, 37 on the early game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
As always, a lot of different ways for you to make sure you tune in, watch us, listen, whatever it takes each and every morning on the 107.5 The Game app. You can download that. Take it anywhere with you, of course. Just go to your app store and download the 107.5 The Game app. But, of course, you can always listen right here in Columbia, 107.5thegame.com. Excuse me, 107.5 The Game here in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence. And, of course, down on the Grand Strand in beautiful Myrtle Beach, 100.3 The Game. And, of course, we even offer multiple streaming options. You can stream us each and every day on the Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. And, of course, right here on the Early Game, you can go to youtube.com and search the Early Game, and you can stream us live right there as well. Several people always join our chat room. Craig, Mike, Carolyn asking this morning, what would have happened had the game ended yesterday and South Carolina had less than 5 players to play at the end? They would have played. If both teams, if one of them had ended up, I was interested to see if that would happen. If it would end up 5-on-4 or 4-on-4, but that's what would have happened. Day, hope. Again, you can go to our Early Game live stream. Go to youtube.com, search the Early Game, and you can join. We have a chat room there where you can chat with each and every one all morning long on whether it's some restaurants, as I see people have been talking about, whether it's movies from last night's Oscars, or whether it's sports. Again, go to the youtube.com and search the Early Game. Also, you can make sure you watch this on the Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. And, of course, don't forget, if you want to listen to us via your smartphone or your smart tablet, go to your app store and download the 107.5 The Game app and take us anywhere. So
I do have a question before you segue in. I understand the fact that girls were ejected. The game was over. So why could they not be part of the celebration?
I don't know. That's a great question. I wondered
don't
that
understand
as well.
that.
I guess when you're ejected, you're not allowed to come back. That's
because to me, once the game was done, the play was over, I don't understand why they could be a part of the celebration. So I would love for somebody to explain that to me, because I just, like, for posterity, I'm sure Dawn will make sure they all celebrate and get pictures and all that, but it's just a little bit different. It sits differently.
Yeah, I don't have, you're right. I don't have the answer to that question. I also don't have the answer to this question that comes in via our Firehouse Subs text line from Greg. And he says, has there been a reason as to why Floje Johnson wasn't given a foul for pushing Watkins? Well, she was given a flagrant foul. I forget what it was. South Carolina did shoot 2 free throws in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually surprised how everything progressed. She was not ejected for the elbow. I was a little surprised by that.
For it just being a foul. I don't understand.
I'm not real sure on that. I was actually a little surprised by that. as well. But again, no, not really sure. And then, of course, as you just mentioned, Trey weighs in. This is part of the punishment. No, we know it's part of the punishment. Just not sure why. Yeah, after the game, they're not allowed to come back out and cut down the nets and be a part of whatever was going on.
Right, especially because they were not part of the fight. Like, if they said, "Okay, Camilla can't come out," okay, I can kinda see that maybe, especially because that punishment will extend into the NCAA tournament. But as far as the girls who just came off the bench, they were not part of any fighting. It was just kind of breaking a rule.
Right.
I don't see why they couldn't have come back out, but
803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you want to do so. So we got some latest bracketology. Dr. Jerry Palm of CBS Sports and Joe Lunardi of ESPN. Field of 68 has not released one. They're more focused on all the championships that are taking place. And in the next segment, I'll give you a rundown as we do have several teams who have punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Latest bracketology, though, as we look ahead. It is very likely, regardless of what happens, South Carolina has locked themselves into a 5 seed. Both Joe Lunardi and Jerry Palm have the Gamecocks listed as a 5 seed. Now, they get a little different as to where South Carolina may be. For Jerry Palm, he has South Carolina in the West Regional. They would be playing South Florida out in Salt Lake City. And I will give you where they're playing because I would imagine Salt Lake City would mean we would get a later afternoon or evening game as opposed to if they were playing in, say, Charlotte, which could end up being a much earlier game. But Salt Lake City, obviously, South Carolina and South Florida, and that would set up a potential second-round game with BYU, the 4 seed. BYU set to take on, or at least according to Jerry Palm, would take on UC Irvine in round 2. In round 1. Actually, I don't want to go down that path of round 1 versus round 2 with the opening games in Dayton. That drives me insane. But South Carolina, again, would play South Florida in the what we will list as the true first round of the NCAA tournament. BYU could potentially be the opponent in round 2. The 2 seed, according to CBS Sports, would be Arizona. The 3 seed would be Kansas. I just mentioned BYU is the 4 seed. And the 1 seed would be Tennessee. Go over to Joe Lunardi's bracketology and what he has. Well, he's got South Carolina again as a 5 seed. He's got him in Pittsburgh in the East, and he's got him taking on South Florida. So both Lunardi and Jerry Palm have South Carolina likely taking on South Florida in the opening round as a 5 seed. Again, Joe Lunardi having South Carolina in the East Regional, where the potential second round game could be Kansas. I personally would love that. I think the opportunity to play Kansas in the second round would be fantastic for South Carolina. Knock off a huge blue blood. Kansas also, I think, is a great matchup for South Carolina. Get past the round 1 game. That would be really cool. Kansas actually would play McNeese. Anybody want to take a quick guess? Come on. Who coaches McNeese? Anybody want to guess? Think about it. Come on. Who? I'll give you a hint. He is the king of the strong bleeping offer, originally from LSU. That would be Will Wade.
Oh, not where I was going at all.
Yep. Will Wade at McNeese is what Joe Lunardi has got taking on Kansas. In that East Regional that I just mentioned for South Carolina, Connecticut would be the 1 seed. North Carolina would be the 2 seed. Kentucky would be the 3 seed. And as I just mentioned there, Kansas would be the 4 seed for the Gamecocks if we followed the Joe Lunardi bracketology. So there's your 2 bracketologies right now. Again, South Carolina projected by both Jerry Palm and by Joe Lunardi as a 5 seed, and both have, again, South Carolina playing South Florida in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. I will also just say this. Don't worry about the net rankings. Those things, they're fun to follow and entertaining. Don't let it affect your blood pressure. South Carolina actually dropped at least Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, yesterday morning. South Carolina had dropped 2 spots after going on the road and winning a quad 1 game. Probably they dropped because some key games that South Carolina had played earlier in the year, those teams lost. That thing, don't worry about the net rankings. Let's just all focus on the bracketology and move forward with that. I mentioned it. Some teams have already punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. I'll tell you about that, including another in-state school. Another in-state school that has punched their ticket. First time ever. I'll tell you who that is when we come back. You're listening to the early game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. Spring is here, and spring usually means rain. Rain means issues for your roof. And if you've not already done some leak detection, guess what? It's time to contact Mid-State Roofing. And they're 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week call center with an on-call technician that's ready to help get you a maintenance contract. 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. You'll speak with an on-call technician who, again, is ready to line up a maintenance contract because, again, with spring and with summer showers coming, you're going to want to make sure you have some leak detection. And Mid-State Roofing, well, they've been the leader in the commercial roofing industry for nearly 30 years, and they're ready to help you and your business get leak detection and then get some leak prevention. So don't wait another day. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. Give them a call, 803-356-1919, or visit them on the web, midstateroofing.com. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Empower Personal Wealth. Start taking control of your financial future at empower.com. Today's birthday shout-out goes to Becky Hammond. The Las Vegas Aces head coach has connections with her 5 fellow class of 2023 Hall of Fame enshrinees.
For the ones who get it done.
There's something remarkable about the University of South Carolina. It's in the labs, where researchers are discovering ways to make communities healthier and stronger. It's in the nation's best first-year student experience and top-ranked programs in nursing and health sciences. It's where more South Carolina students have access to higher education than ever before. Because when you stand for something bigger than yourself, you could create something that benefits us all. Behold, the remarkable we.
Last throw, big guy.
Come on, baby. I need me a giant bear.
I got this. I'm the target. Ben, throw. Oh, well, look who won a giant bear. That's a grizzly.
Oh, Mama's baby bear.
When you join the South Carolina Education Lottery's Players Club, you get way more than you expect. More chances, more wins, and more surprises.
Yeah, he's had all his shots. Just don't look him in the eye.
Join the Players Club at seeducationlottery.com because more happens here.
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Reminder, call out the Charwood Golf Club today and get registered. The 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Tournament, April 5th at Charwood Golf Club. We'll have a 10 a.m. shotgun start. It's $400 for a foursome, which is a team. So you want to go ahead and get registered today. Spots go fast. Call Charwood 803-755-2000 to register today. Again, that phone number 803-755-2000. Get your team together. We'll have some trophies. We'll have some raffles. We'll have some giveaways. We will be out there. Why would you not want to come join us? It'll be Friday, April the 5th. That is both the weekend before the Masters. That is the weekend of the Final Four. We'll be able to talk some spring football. Spring football getting underway next Wednesday. Tomorrow, by the way, pro day over at the facility there. We'll talk a lot about that with Preston Thorne tomorrow. But call today and get registered. The 107.5 The Game annual spring golf tournament. We look forward to seeing you out there at Charwood Golf Club April the 5th. We'll have a mimosa bar sponsored by Saki's Wine and Spirits. We'll have breakfast. We'll have lunch. We will have all kinds of great goodies to give away. You're going to want to be there. Go ahead and get signed up today. Get registered. 803-755-2000 is how you can register. Again, it'll be a 10 a.m. shotgun start Friday, April the 5th. Go ahead and call to Charwood today and get your team registered. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you so want to do so. I mentioned it. There is another, on the women's side, another in-state team heading to the NCAA tournament. First appearance ever. Congratulations to the Presbyterian Blue Hose. 20-14 on the season. They win the Big South Conference, and the Presbyterian women will make their first ever appearance in the NCAA tournament. Kudos to those women there up at Presbyterian. 20-14 on the season, and they are heading to the NCAA tournament after clinching the Big South Tournament Championship over the weekend. I know my former coach, Bailey Harris, a former coach at Presbyterian, a former player there, very excited for his alma mater. So kudos to Presbyterian, the women's team, clinching a bid to the women's NCAA tournament. Over the weekend, we also had a couple of other men's teams clinching and moving on to the NCAA tournament. We got more championship games tonight, but right now, and I did find this funny, one of the teams that clinched in the Big South, they did this yesterday, the Longwood Lancers. Second appearance ever for Longwood. Not sure if this the word got into the dugout there over at Founders Park that the Longwood basketball team had clinched. Maybe that would explain the lack of focus there in the sixth inning and why Longwood gave up 11 runs. But out of the Big South, Longwood has clinched for the men's NCAA tournament. Ohio Valley Conference champion, Morehead State. And I think I told Jen this the other day. It really is amazing if you think about it. Jahani Broom of Auburn, and Talon Cooper, obviously South Carolina point guard, both starting their careers at Morehead State. What would that program be like if you had Broom and Cooper still there? They don't, but Morehead State clinching out of the Ohio Valley Conference. I mentioned Longwood, Missouri Valley Conference yesterday. Drake topping Indiana State, 84-80. Drake, 28-6 on the season, will make their seventh appearance in the NCAA tournament, second consecutive. Out of the Atlantic Sun, Stetson makes their first ever appearance in the NCAA tournament as they have clinched. So right now, Stetson, Drake, Longwood second again, and Morehead State are the four teams that have clinched a tournament championship to get themselves into the NCAA tournament. Tonight, the Sun Belt and the Southern Conference, they will crown their championships tonight. The Southern Conference, always a lot of fun. They're up at Harris Cherokee Center in Asheville, and it'll be the 7 seed East Tennessee State taking on the 1 seed Samford. That game will be on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock tonight as those two teams go for a opportunity to get to the NCAA tournament. Also tonight, the Colonial Athletic Association, Towson at Charleston. That'll actually, I say at Charleston, the home team. Charleston, the 1 seed there in the CAA. That game being played up at the Entertainment Sports Arena in Washington, D.C. as part of the CAA tournament tonight. You also have Stony Brook and Hofstra participating in that. The winner of those two games looking to play for the CAA championship tomorrow night. So if you're a Charleston fan, Pat Kelsey fan, good opportunity there for the Cougars as they could get another South Carolina team along with the Gamecocks, along with Clemson, both locks to get in the NCAA tournament there. One other note, because I know you folks love this kind of stuff. Northern Kentucky. That's right. The Fighting Darren Horns. They're in the semifinals of their tournament. They play late tonight. You want to remember old Darren Horn. 9:30 tonight, Northern Kentucky on ESPN2. They will take on Milwaukee. Darren Horn getting his team back to the NCAA tournament last year in Northern Kentucky, and they are in contention again to work their way in. Sun Belt, by the way, championship tonight. Arkansas State taking on James Madison, 7 o'clock, that on ESPN. So we are fully immersed. Conference tournament time. South Carolina will get going coming up on Thursday, but the SEC gets going on Wednesday. We'll have complete coverage of that. Pro Day tomorrow. We'll have you covered right here. Preston Thorne will be in all show. For Jen Jensen, for myself, hope you have a great rest of the day. Bill Gunner for Corley Pool Solutions. You know what? It is that time of year. Pollen. Ugh, that's awful. And it's messy, and it gets into your pool, and now you got a problem. Your pool is yellow, and that's not enjoyable at all unless you think ahead. And you go ahead and you line up. Maintenance with Corley Pool Solutions. That's right. The pool guru, Tracy Corley, is ready to come to your house and take care of your pool and make it usable. That's right. Even with that pollen, Corley Pool Solutions knows exactly what they're doing. They've been in business over 20 years, providing the absolute highest quality swimming pool service at the most affordable price to you and your family. They do it with flat rate pricing. You know exactly what you're paying for, and that includes all of the chemicals. Call and get your maintenance contract lined up today. 803-445-8109. Again, that's 803-445-8109. Call Corley Pool Solutions today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a great day. Preston's back tomorrow. Pro Day. We'll have a good time. A lot more basketball coverage. Look forward to seeing each and every one of you. Spread the word. Get more people involved. We get more people in that chat. We're really ramping up the number of people we got in here. Maybe get more people in that chat so y'all can debate some stuff. But hope you have a great day and take care.